Chapter 191. 5 days later, a lot of people came to Zhuangzi from the Zhang family and the Wang family. They wore hemp clothes and held sickles in their hands as they went into the paddy fields to harvest. The harvested paddy fields were immediately threshed. A few people from the Zhang family and the Wang family came out of Zhuangzi to help weigh the paddy fields. Elsewhere, the busy farming season was almost over. Only some winter wheat needed to be planted in the soil. The market was once again bustling with people. What was different from usual was that at this time, the stalls selling tea and snacks in the market were charging several times more than usual. The people who came to work had already agreed that all the water and food would be taken care of by the people who hired them, the owners of the grain stores. This time, the people who did business in the market were going to make a fortune. They did it on purpose. They must have done it on purpose. The shop owner sent the news back at noon today. They paid the money and started to raise the prices of things in the market. Zhuangzi is so big, but they even want to calculate such a small amount of money. I really don't understand. In the restaurant between the clouds and the water, in a private room where one could see the paddy fields through the window, one of the owners was drinking tea and looking around while complaining. This is not a small amount of money. A bowl of tea usually costs 1 copper coin and a few snacks. Now without snacks it costs 3 copper coins. We hired 200 people and they drink the tea like cows. Including the 3 meals in the morning, afternoon and evening, they will earn more than 10 taels of silver a day. According to this situation, they will earn at least 50 taels of silver in 3 days. The other owner was very clear. Just this amount of money was enough to buy several ships to transport grain back and forth. Zhangjia Zhuangzi was not willing to suffer a loss at all. They calculated everywhere and bought more than half of the seeds in the fields. They bought 24 shops in the capital, and even a 2-story restaurant. You two don't talk about it. We got a lot of money. A catty of seeds cost 65 copper coins in the end. When we bought the shop, we deliberately increased the price by 10%. The seeds are not even worth 60 copper coins per catty. Planting seeds is more profitable than planting grain. It is more than 100 times the price. Lu Dongjia estimated that the seeds they bought this time were actually worth more than 14,000 taels of silver. As for the rest of the seeds, if they were to find someone else to buy them, they would still not be able to sell for more than 3,000 or 4,000 taels of silver. If they were to exchange them for ordinary grains, they would only be able to sell for about 300 taels of silver. Jin Dongjia, who was also waiting for his subordinates to work faster, agreed. Brother Lu is right. Of the 24 shops, only the 2-story restaurant is a little more expensive, 4,000 taels of silver. The other shops only cost about 9,000 taels of silver. We paid more than 1,000 taels of silver. How much can we hire people to eat? We can't let them bring their own dry food and drink the water from the river. Brother Jean, you are wrong. Steward Zhang personally said a few days ago that we should make a profit by selling them food. They will pay for half of the transportation. But they are stingy everywhere. They have to specify the ships. I have already asked people to find out, and they are half of the price. The carriages and horses to be shipped to Zhuangzi are also fixed, and they asked for half more. We have to stay here and watch. The wine they give is not sold at between the clouds and the water. The dishes they cook are also the same. Don't they need to spend money? Plus they don't need to harvest, which saves some manpower. I heard that they went to the mountains to build other places. The boss who spoke first felt uncomfortable as he recounted the events one by one. Jin Dongjia shook his head. We also eat normally. When did we not choose the best food? This table only costs about 30 to 50 taels of silver. Counting everything, it is only a few hundred taels of silver. We still made a profit. Jin Dongjia also felt uncomfortable. They did not have a lot of money. If they divided it among a dozen people, they could get some. The main reason was that they were constantly being schemed against. People who did business always wanted to scheme against others. Look, the people from the Zhang family and Wang family in Zhuangzi have all returned. Why are there so many people? There are about 300 people. They are all holding sickles. What are they doing? Could it be that they want to help us harvest? Just as everyone was eating snacks and tea, a person standing next to the window pointed down and asked curiously. Everyone stood up and looked down. Wasn't that right? There were quite a few people there, and judging from their similar clothes, they were undoubtedly the Zhang and Wang families' villagers. Only they would be so generous as to specially make the same clothes for the villagers. Those people rushed to the fields with sickles and started harvesting. After watching for a while, everyone was relieved. They were not harvesting the high-quality crops they had drawn, but their own. Fast, it's really too fast. Look at their farmers. One of them is comparable to the two we found. Wang Dongjia said enviously when he saw the speed of the people on both sides. We can't compare. If the farmers are willing, they can eat meat every 2 or 3 days. We found people from other places. Where did they get so much money? They didn't harvest earlier or later. Why did they also harvest the people we found here? Lu Dongjia's eyes were a little far-sighted. He could see the difference between the two people's bodies. The Zhang family and Wang family were also shirtless. Their bodies were full of meat. Looking at the people they found, they were only a little stronger than skin and bones. Everyone was puzzled. They could only sit back and drink tea again. They talked about some business matters. In a flash, the sun was in the middle of the sky. Time to eat, time to eat. The owners had just found a waiter to order the food and wine when they heard someone shouting loudly. The people near the window looked down and saw many people coming out of the market. Some were pushing carts, some were carrying poles. They shouted and waved at the people hired by Tanaka and the others. It's time to eat. The people in the market are not bad. They sent the food here. The owner turned around and explained to the others who looked over. Oh, that can save us a few steps. Several owners said at the same time. Let me see. Lu Dongjia saw that there were only a few cold plates on the table. He didn't plan to eat immediately. He also came over to take a look. After looking for a while, he said, "There's a lot of food. Look at those carts. It's enough to feed 500 or 600 people. Oh, I understand. The farmers of the Zhang family and Wang family are also eating together." As soon as he finished speaking, the people who gathered to eat suddenly became chaotic. Some of the people hired by them quarreled with the people who delivered the food. They were far away, so the voices were mixed. It was impossible to tell what they were arguing about. They could vaguely hear voices like "Why? Do the same job, and quit. What's going on? Didn't they deliver the food? Waiter, go and ask." Lu Dongjia didn't understand. He shouted at the waiter who was waiting at the door to serve at any time. The waiter responded, turned around and ran. After a while, the people of the Zhang family and Wang family were eating. When the people hired by them were still quarreling, the waiter ran back. "Sir, they quarreled because of the difference in the food. The people hired by you feel that the food is not as good as the food of the Zhang family and Wang family." The waiter panted and said, "You did the food that the market made for our people go bad?" One of the owners asked. "No, there's rice, steamed buns with sorghum noodles, egg drop soup, and fried chives with eggs. These are all well made." The waiter counted the food and said, "They still think it's not good. Is it not as good as what they usually eat? I think they don't want to ask for their wages." The owner who asked the question was so angry that he slammed the table. "Don't worry, waiter. Let me ask you, what do the Zhuangzi and Zhang family eat?" Boss Jean waved his hand at that person and asked the waiter again. The waiter also counted thin pancakes, shredded pork with scallions, sliced chicken, blanched bamboo shoots, minced pork with eggplant, and a bowl of soup made with dried shredded tofu and pork. The soup is served with chopped wood ears and spicy sauce. There are 2 dishes that can be eaten with spicy sauce in the pancakes. The other 2 dishes can be cooked however you like. When the waiter's voice fell, the other owners didn't know what to say. No wonder the people they found were unwilling. When they were working together and waiting to eat, they only had 1 dish and 1 soup. The staple food was also worthless, while the waiter had the staple food of fine flour pancakes and 4 dishes and a soup that were several times better. When the two sides were compared, the difference was obvious. Of course, the people who worked were not willing. Why should they be treated differently just because they were all sent from the market? Waiter, is the food that the Zhang family and Wang family eat also prepared by the market? Boss Jean thought for a while and asked. In reply to your question, no, it's just a stove over there. They are all harvesting rice and making a fire at the side. They are afraid that it will catch fire. When it was done, it was just in time for the market. The food was also ready, so it was sent over together. The waiter answered respectfully. Just in time. Okay, then let me ask you, do you know how much those 4 dishes and 1 soup cost? I really don't know. It's estimated that it would cost 2 taels of silver per person. After all, the soup has wood ears and they eat a lot. The spicy sauce is also not cheap. There's also the meat and so on. The waiter shook his head awkwardly. After thinking for a while, he gave a price that he thought about. The owners looked at each other and sighed at the same time. The one who spoke first in the morning said, I'm right? They don't intend to let us transport the seeds back properly. 2 taels of silver per person. 200 people, 400 taels of silver. Can we afford it? 2 days is 800 taels of silver. This time, everyone nodded in agreement. If they really forced the people below to eat the food prepared by the market, they would also eat it. However, it was hard to say how much effort they put into the work. If they also ordered the same food and sent it over, wouldn't they lose money? Big Brother Jean, what should we do? One of the owners asked. Waiter, you go down and ask the market to add a meat dish. Add 10 taels of silver per person and some rice. Add 3 taels of silver per person. Boss Jean didn't have a good idea and could only do this. However, the waiter said, Boss Jean, how much to add depends on the number of plates. It's based on the portion. What if they eat a lot? Don't tell me they can't eat anymore. Also, the original food that was already prepared can't be returned, right? Chapter 192. The afternoon sun was no longer as scorching as it was at noon. Occasionally a breeze would blow, making people feel cool. The owners of the grain store added more food, and the hired people also found out that those people were the farmers of the Zhang family and Wang family. All the food was taken care of by the owners, so they happily ate until they were full and no longer made any noise. But when they started to work in the fields, they found that when they bent down, the food in their stomachs would rush up. They had no choice but to endure the discomfort while sighing that they were able to eat. The farmers of the Zhang family and Wang family naturally wouldn't eat until they were full, like those who hadn't eaten for 8 lifetimes. They only ate until they were 70% full, and the rest of the food could be eaten after they finished their work. 4 hours later, the farmers of the Zhang family and Wang family finished harvesting the remaining rice. They removed the kernels and drank some water. After resting for a while, they rushed to send the rice to the storeroom. Only then did they come back to heat up the rest of the food and prepare to eat. Everyone, listen up. Don't eat anymore. Hurry up and bring it home for your family to eat. In a while, someone will treat us to food. There's no more fungus soup, but there will be no less. There will be wages. Without waiting for the farmers to heat up the food, Steward Zhang trotted over and shouted to everyone. The farmers didn't even ask anything. They divided the food and brought more food to those who had more people. They turned around and ran back home. They had absolute trust in their masters and would do whatever they were told to do. Steward Zhang looked at the scattered people and smiled. He ordered the people following him, "Bring the prepared food over." After that, he walked towards the place between the clouds and the water. The owners of Between the Clouds and the Water were more and more dissatisfied with the helpers they found. They did a good job in the morning, but at noon they spent a lot more money. When it was distributed to each person, it was 120 copper coins. There was no other way. The price of the food was 3 times more expensive than usual. Including the water, the total cost was 130 copper coins. Just one meal cost 26 taels of silver. At the beginning, it was more than 10 taels of silver a day. The most infuriating thing was that these people were not as nimble as they were in the morning after eating and drinking. They would stand up and rub their stomachs after a few cuts. At this rate, they would not be able to finish their work in 3 days. Big brother Jean, we can't go on like this. It's not like we have nowhere to spend our money. Look at what they are doing. The farmers in Zhuangzi are working much faster than them. Their food is not bad either. How are they looking for helpers? They are clearly raising their ancestors. Lu Dongjia looked over from the window and shook his head helplessly. It's not easy for a poor family to have something delicious to eat. They're already full, so naturally they don't have the energy to work. Let's talk to them when we're done with work tonight. If they really fall out with us, where are we going to find people? Don't tell me we're going to cut it ourselves. Jean Dongjia could think of the reason, but at the same time, he did not have a good solution. He bitterly said, "If you want to blame those helpers, why don't you complain about the people in Zhangjia Zhuangzi? They are so bad. They deliberately came to eat with us and they eat so well. I don't believe that they eat like this every day." Boss Jean, you are really wrong. A few days ago when we were harvesting we didn't have these talents, but we ate whole mutton soup, which was no less than this flour. We didn't send people to harvest the rice on purpose to harm you. It's really going to rain today. If you don't believe me, you can go and ask the local elders. They are most familiar with the weather here. Just as Jean Dongjia finished speaking, Steward Zhang came in from the door. Although he was explaining, his eyes were telling them that they were measuring the heart of a gentleman with their own mean measure. Rain. Steward Zhang, you're not joking. After Jean Dongjia heard this, he trembled. What he was afraid of was happening. He stared at Steward Zhang, wanting to know if he was lying or not. Housekeeper Zhang smiled and sighed. Boss Jean, do you think I have nothing better to do? That's why I'm here to tell you guys some lies. Don't you feel that it's cool and stuffy in the afternoon? The wind is blowing. Look at the sky, it's going to be night soon. As Steward Zhang spoke, he walked to the window and opened the other 2 closed windows. Sure enough, a gust of wind swept in, swirled around the house, and blew out from the other window. How is it? Do you feel much better? Sigh. We were really afraid that when the rain fell, the things in the fields would be finished. Otherwise, why would we call people back? The place on the mountain is not fixed yet. Steward Zhang opened his arms and stood in front of the window, feeling the coolness of the wind, and said faintly. What the owners felt was not the coolness, but the coldness. Not only were they afraid that their seeds would be finished after the rain, but they were more afraid that the Zhang family and Wang family would be Zhuangzi. Just as Steward Zhang had said, only the old people in this place knew how the local climate changed. Steward Zhang had deliberately delayed for a few days so that they could settle the matters of the shop before harvesting. It turned out that it was all in preparation for this rain. What should we do? What should we do? It seemed that the rain was going to fall soon. No matter what, it would not last until tomorrow morning. There was no need to plant the seeds in the fields anymore. When the time came, the seeds that were not moldy could be planted directly. But could they be planted in this season? Steward Zhang, you can't cheat us like this. If we throw the money into the fields, we will lose a lot of money. The shops in Beijing were bought according to your requirements. Now that we gave you the seeds, you gave us this kind of thing. Wang Dongjia stood up and walked in front of Steward Zhang. He grabbed his arm and said with a sad face, Wang Dongjia, let's talk nicely. What we gave you is not wrong. We put it in the fields and waited for you to cut it. The reason why we did not cut it was because we were afraid that you would suspect that we changed the seeds. You have to understand our painstaking efforts. Steward Zhang dodged to the side, but he still could not get rid of Wang Dongjia's hand. He could only persuade him. No, it's not like that. Steward Zhang, you clearly knew that it was going to rain. Why didn't you tell us a few days earlier? Wang Dongjia's hand was blue and blue. Could be seen that he used a lot of strength. Hearing this, Steward Zhang's face sank. He stared at Wang Dongjia and said, Wang Dongjia, what are you talking about? How could there be a matter of a few days earlier? If we knew a few days earlier, we would have taken it a few days earlier. Look at how tired our farmers are. Compared to the work speed of the workers you found, do you not know how much effort the farmers put in? Earlier, Jin Dongjia complained that Zhuangzi gave the farmers good food to eat. People's hearts are made of flesh. The farmers worked hard, so how could they not be given a meal? Our Zhang family and Wang family would not do such a thing. Even so, the farmers need to rest for a few days before they can recover. Master said that in a bit, we will give the farmers better things. We will buy a few sheep and kill them for them to eat. Where can we find such good farmers? Look at your people, the better they eat, the worse they do. Steward Zhang, don't be angry, let's talk things over. When we bought those shops, we made a bit more money, about 1,800 taels of silver. We don't want that money. We will buy a few more shops for you. Please help us. Is there a way to reduce our losses? Lu Dongjia was afraid that Steward Zhang would leave in anger at this time, so he came over and pulled Wang Dongjia away. He whispered to him, "This method is not easy to think of. Everyone, don't worry, Zhuangzi will not ignore this. Come, sit down and talk. We will take our time to discuss this." Steward Zhang helped Lu Dongjia sit down and began to think with a frown. "Xiao Bao, it seems that what the people say is right. Having an old person in the family is like having a treasure. We have so many treasures here. Look, the timing is so accurate. When they say it will rain today, it will rain today. When they say it will rain in the middle of the night, it will definitely rain in the middle of the night." At Zhangjia Zhuangzi's side, Wang Wan was adding vegetables to the thin pancakes. When she saw that the sky outside was overcast, she happily said to Zhang Xiaobao, "Yes, let them give a false price and not pay the shipping fee. Do they really think that we are easy to fool? If we don't get 1,800 taels of silver this time, I, Zhang Xiaobao, will write my name backwards." A sinister smile appeared on Zhang Xiaobao's childish face as he agreed. He did not like to eat the rolled pancakes. He grabbed the pancakes with one hand and picked up the vegetables with the other. He just ate it like this. Spring pancakes were usually made at the beginning of spring. At this time, he took them out and gave them to the villagers. Oh, people called this spring pancake. At first, Wang Wan did not understand why Zhang Xiaobao did not like to eat the rolled pancakes. After she finished rolling the pancakes, she saw Zhang Xiaobao eat more than half of the 2-inch pancake and eat a few mouthfuls of vegetables. Only then did she understand that rolling pancakes was a waste of time. Even when eating the shredded pork in Beijing sauce with a little soup, Zhang Xiaobao did not roll the pancake. He just held the pancake in his hand and put it under the shredded pork and onions. After taking a bite of the pancake, Wang Wan picked up a mouthful of vegetables and put it into her mouth. She chewed twice and said, "Other than the taste of the chili sauce, everything else is about the same. Those things are about the same." Zhang Xiaobao picked up the second pancake. "Xiaobao, even if our people help them harvest, they might not be able to finish it in the middle of the night, right? They will still lose some." Wang Wan asked doubtfully. Zhang Xiaobao was eating the most. He nodded and waited for the food to be swallowed before he said, "Of course, don't say that it's too late. If it's really not enough, I have to ask them to buy some time. I have already found the reason. It's too tiring to work during the day. I'm risking my life to help them." As he spoke, Zhang Xiaobao used his chopsticks to pick up a bit of fermented bean curd. He took a sip and smacked his lips twice before continuing, "I want them to lose a portion of the rice. The ones they bought were calculated. One was to be sold to the person they contacted, and the other was to be sold to their own family. If they lose a portion of the rice, we don't have to find buyers elsewhere. We will kindly sell the rest to them." "Xiaobao, you're still as bad as ever. I know, the amount of rice you're going to make us lose is exactly the amount of rice we have left after we've planted the seeds. Come, Xiaobao, this piece of stinky tofu is your reward." Chapter 193. The dishes on the table were cold, and the wine was not as warm. No one around the table paid any attention to this. They all looked at Steward Zhang, waiting for him to come up with a good idea. "How about this, if you ask me?" Steward Zhang paused, picked up a piece of deer tendon with his chopsticks, threw it into his mouth, chewed and nodded. If you ask me, buddy, warm up the wine. Can't you see it's cold? Can you afford to compensate the owners if they don't eat well? Steward Zhang reached out and poured himself a cup. While he was talking, he found the wine was not warm anymore, so he shouted to the waiter at the door. Listen to Steward Zhang, buddy. Here, this string of money is yours. Go and wait. Steward Zhang likes to eat deer tendon. Bring another plate. Steward Zhang, what good idea do you have? Boss Wang was one of the more impulsive ones among these people. He urged the waiter to push the plate of deer tendon in front of Steward Zhang. Steward Zhang finished the cold wine, picked up a piece of roasted lamb chop, chewed, and said in a muffled voice, I'm thinking that the people you find are too slow. Why don't you go to Gu Family's Zhuangzi and hire some more? They're all free so they can come and help. More people, faster work. What do you think? Hearing this, everyone suddenly realized that they had been thinking about how to stop the rain and forgot to hire more people. Good idea. Thank you, Steward Zhang. Gu Family's Zhuangzi doesn't seem to have enough people, right? Steward Zhang, why don't you hire the farmers of Zhang family and Wang family? They can work faster. Boss Wang slapped his thigh and was happy, but he also felt that they were still short of people. Yes, Steward Zhang, you have to help us at this time. We'll buy the shop for you later. Even if we have to spend some money, we can't let the seeds disappear. Another owner of the grain store sitting next to Steward Zhang added. Sigh. Steward Zhang was put in a difficult position. He paused for a moment and said, We agreed to let you earn the money. It's not easy for you to arrange for people to run around. Steward Zhang is a benevolent and righteous man. Don't worry, if you ever need our help in the future, we definitely won't hesitate. Lu Dongjia sighed. Why don't you all go there and ask them? If we really let our farmers do it, they'll die of exhaustion. Although they're farmers, the main family has always treated them like family. The food is good and they're paid well. I'm just worried that they won't be able to live a comfortable life. When I think about how they'll be tired again, I feel so sad. Steward Zhang couldn't go on. He sniffled and wiped his tears with his sleeve. He pouted and looked sad. These owners weren't fools. They knew who bought the Zhuangzi from the Li family. Who would dare to hire people there? Unless they were tired of living. When they saw Steward Zhang's expression, they were speechless. Jin Dongjia cursed in his heart. How can they die of exhaustion? It's just a little work. How can they die of exhaustion in a day? When they were harvesting a few days ago, did they have to rest for a few days? Look at how strong those farmers are. Who would believe that? They treat the farmers well and give them expensive food and pay them more. What kind of pay is that? What kind of farmers would pay Zhuangzi separately when they harvest the land? He wasn't the only one who thought this way. The others also had the same thought. They cursed in their hearts. They had to say something nice, but time waits for no one. Steward Zhang, it's true. We really can't find anyone. Tell them to work slower. Don't worry, we'll take care of their food. It won't be worse than what you give them. As for the wages, we'll give them 7 copper coins a day. How about we give them 10 copper coins a day? Lu Dongjia stared into Steward Zhang's eyes and asked. Steward Zhang had just finished wiping his tears. He blinked his eyes, picked up a fish head, and put it on his plate. He smacked it twice with his mouth and said to the crowd, This fish is good. It's delicious. It's a pity that the farmers can't afford to eat it. Fish may not be valuable, but it depends on how it's cooked. A fish cooked by Shuyan costs 2 taels of silver. Everyone, how about this? There are only 300 people in Zhuangzi who are strong. I'll give you 15 copper coins and let you hire people elsewhere. Let them go. Waiter, go to the shopkeeper and get 5 strings of money. I'll return it here when I get back. Steward Zhang ordered the waiter who had just delivered the hot water and deer tendons. The waiter nodded and turned to leave. But Jin Dongjia quickly stopped him. Wait, where are we going to find people to work at this time? When they come, it will be raining. Steward Zhang, 100 copper coins for each of you. Just for one night. 150 copper coins. Not for one night. If the rain stops and you get sick, you'll have to pay for the medical expenses. Steward Zhang made a counteroffer. K 300 people. It's just a few stones of seeds. Jin Dongjia gritted his teeth and agreed. It's not 300. There are about 800 people in Zhuangzi now. Even the children can help look after the pile. Steward Zhang didn't budge an inch. Alright, let's hurry up. 800 people it is. 100 taels of silver is better than losing these 10,000 taels of seeds. Jin Dongjia really didn't want to waste any more time. The more he spoke, the less he would cut. Moreover, it wasn't a matter of 10,000 taels of silver. Those who bought the seeds had already paid the deposit. If they bought the seeds back, they would make a lot of money. If they lost the seeds, they would have to pay more. There's no time to lose. Let's go now. How much do you want to pay in Zhuangzi? You can talk to them yourselves. Waiter, send that plate of deer tendons back to the main house. The young master and his wife loved to eat them. Steward Zhang was delighted at this time. He took the lead and walked out. It seemed that he was more anxious than the others. The other owners didn't have time to think about how shameless Steward Zhang was. He just served a dish and he took it back. Were the people of Zhangjia Zhuangzi so poor? When they arrived outside, the sky was cloudy and it was already dusk. It was already dark. Two of them went to the Gu family's manor to find someone to negotiate the price. The rest of them looked at housekeeper Zhang. Oh, it's dark. What should we do? We need to light lanterns. Torches are prone to fire. Steward Zhang looked at the sky and said, then let's light lanterns. Is it hard to buy lanterns? Wang Dongjia asked anxiously. Let's go to the grocery store. It's too urgent. I don't know if they have any. As Steward Zhang spoke, he strode towards the sundry goods store. The others followed closely behind him. When they arrived, Steward Zhang shouted to Ergo, who was walking back and forth in the market. Ergo, do you have any lanterns? I need 400 lanterns. Everyone take a look. Are those old people in Zhuangzi also using them? Yes, they're all using them. 150 coins per person. Use as much as you have. Ergo, right? Do you have so many lanterns? One of the owners said. He didn't have time to argue. He would do whatever Steward Zhang said. Even if he had a pig, as long as it knew how to hold a lantern and how to light it, it would still be worth 150 coins. Steward Zhang, you need so many lanterns. This. Don't talk about this and that. Tell me the truth. Do you have them or not? Steward Zhang impatiently interrupted Ergo and asked. Yes, there are exactly 450 lanterns. But they have been ordered by someone else. They have to be sent to you tomorrow morning. If they are given to you. Before Ergo could finish, Wang Dongjia stepped in front of Ergo and shouted. How much is it? We will pay for the loss. Hurry up and get the lanterns and candles. Okay, I'll get them now. 200 coins per lantern. Each lantern has 10 candles. Let me tell you the candles. I beg you, hurry up and get them. Wang Dongjia was almost crying. Ergo was sensible this time. In the blink of an eye, he ran to the grocery store. There seemed to be people waiting there. He went in and came out. The 450 lanterns were set up in less than a quarter of an hour. He put in the candles and lit them up. At this time, the young and old women of the manor also walked out and waited there. Their efficiency was so high that all the masters felt their hearts bleed. If they hadn't been prepared, how could they be so fast? But those people were empty-handed. Steward Zhang, they came empty-handed. One of the owners stared and asked. Oh, they are so troublesome. Who went to find them? Didn't we say to collect the land? Did we forget to tell them? Ergo, do you have scythes here? The kind that we specially made and are better than other scythes. We need 500 scythes. How much do you want? Ask these owners later. Steward Zhang was also annoyed. He shouted at Ergo. When he saw go in to get the scythes, he shouted at the owners. Everyone heard that. We asked you to help us harvest the rice. 150 coins per person. When you're done, remember to put the scythes in a place. This scythe. Steward Zhang, look, the scythes are here. Let's get to work first, okay? Jin Dongjia couldn't hold it in anymore. He felt more and more bored. Take the scythes and work. Children look after the piles. Old people and women hold the lanterns. Steward Zhang immediately shouted. Those people didn't slow down. They ran over to get the things they needed. When they started, Steward Zhang wiped the sweat off his face and said to the owners, Everyone, I'll ask people to prepare the food. We'll eat according to the lunch. There's one less fungus soup. I'll ask you to save some and change it to mutton. How about that? Okay, Steward Zhang will arrange it. That's Guzhuang's people, right? Hurry up, run a few steps. One of the owners didn't want to continue bargaining on other matters. He agreed and saw the flames appear over there. He waved his hand and shouted loudly. The Gu family didn't have many people in Zhuangzi. Only 100 came. As for how much they spent, Steward Zhang didn't care. This could be considered as helping them once and earning more money. Steward Zhang, I admit defeat this time. Don't worry, I won't have any ideas about Zhang family and Wang family's Zhuangzi anymore. The owner, surnamed Lu, watched those people harvest and said to Steward Zhang, who was standing next to him. Chapter 194. Just as Zhang Xiaobao had expected, when more than half of the hundreds of people had finished harvesting, the rain started to fall. The people who were working immediately left the fields and hid in the sheds that were specially set up for them, eating the food that was specially prepared for them. The masters of the Zhang family and Wang family in Zhuangzi even took out wine for their own farmers to drink. This was included in Zhuangzi's bill, so the masters did not have to pay for it. The children and the elderly were also given an extra portion of congee with preserved egg and lean meat, which was also paid for by Zhuangzi. Of course, this money had long been earned back from the triple price. However, the Gu family's farmers and hired people did not think so. The Gu family's farmers knew that they could not compete with the others, so they were already used to it. Fortunately, the food was not bad. There were actually 2 dishes and a soup. As for the other people who had 5 dishes, they pretended not to see it. The hired helpers also had 2 dishes and a soup. This time no one made a fuss. They thought that it was the same as at noon. When they saw the wine, some people who liked to inquire asked. When they found out that the wine was really given by the masters, they were all envious and jealous. They were also farmers from Zhuangzi in Sanshui County. In the past, they had always heard that the masters of the Zhuangzi and Zhang family were very good to the farmers. They did not think much of it, but this time, they saw it with their own eyes and wished that they could immediately become farmers here. Not only did they eat better than their own people, but there was also a doctor who came over with his disciple to check on them one by one. He was afraid that they would catch a cold if they were swept by the rain. The 2 housekeepers of Zhuangzi also wandered among the crowd, stopping from time to ask the older people what was wrong with them. Those who ran too slowly and whose clothes were wet were pulled to a small shed at the side to change into a new set of clothes. Brother, I see that the clothes on these 2 Zhuangzi are the same. Other than the words on the chest, the workmanship and cloth are from the same place, right? A helper asked a Gu family's Zhuangzi man beside him when he saw those who changed their clothes come out. Those who did not change their clothes were given a set of clothes to hold on to. You just saw it. How many days had it been like this? Didn't you see those people who gave the clothes to look at them with the help of the light? That depends on the name. First, get someone to measure your body one by one and remember your name. Then go to a tailor shop to have them made. They will use the same cloth and style. Only the men and women will be separated. All the money will be paid by the owner, including the shoes. The Gu family's farmer could only drink a mouthful of soup as he watched the other party drink. He said to the person who asked the question, "So good. Where's your Zhuangzi?" The person who asked the question enviously looked at the happy faces of the Zhang family and Wang family before asking the Gu family. We're not bad either. This year we can hand in less than half of the grain. Yesterday, the main family sent someone to measure our sizes and shoes. In a few days we'll be able to wear new clothes. This is all thanks to the two Zhuangzi. When the Gu family talked about clothes, they were equally happy. The person who asked the question was stunned. If you don't thank the master of your main family, how are you going to thank them? Without them, there wouldn't be such a good harvest. Without between the clouds and the water, there wouldn't be a market, and the main family wouldn't think of us. When comparing the two places, the main family is afraid that we'll run away, so they can only learn from their main family and treat us better. Not only Gu family's Zhuangzi, but also Li family's Zhuangzi. The villagers of the Gu family had long understood this point. The children of the Gu family went to study in the other side school. Now the main family had an agreement with the other side. They would send food to the other side for them to cook. Although it was slightly worse than what the other side ate, it was much better than what they brought back. Yes, that's true. It's a pity that my Zhuangzi doesn't have Zhang family and Wang family. It's a blessing to follow such a main family. When the person who asked the question heard that the Zhuangzi around him were also enjoying the food, he didn't have the mood to talk anymore. He lowered his head and ate with all his might. It wasn't easy to have a good meal, and it would be even better if they could bring it back home. Compared to the carefree people who were working, the owners of the grain stores were listless. At the same time, they were feeling very sad. We still haven't gotten everything back. What should we do? Let's see how much we have in total. Otherwise we won't plant anymore. Hopefully we can get enough from others. Otherwise we will have to pay a lot of money. Boss Wang sat in the shed and watched the others eat and drink. He couldn't swallow the food in front of him, but he drank 2 big bowls of wine. His face was drooping and he seemed to be talking to himself. It doesn't seem to be enough. Even if we don't plant our own, we still have to pay others. Let's calculate. It's about 6,000 taels of silver. How much can we earn from the handprint? 6,000 taels, and we still have to pay for the workers, the lanterns, the food, and the scythe. It's more than 600 taels. The scythe is good, and it works faster, but it can't be sold for 1 tael of silver, right? Boss Lu heard Boss Wang's words, and calculated how much money they would have to pay this time. The others also heard it. After working for so many days, not only did they not earn any money, they still had to pay. It's not that they couldn't afford it, but that they would lose too much. Everyone listen to me. Don't worry. Isn't it just a portion that hasn't been collected? How about this? We'll go according to the original price, 65 copper coins. Zhuangzi will help you make up for it. Don't forget that Zhuangzi harvested some rice during the day. I reckon that other than the seeds left by Zhuangzi, it's just about the amount that you didn't collect. Steward Zhang listened from the side, and timely told the little young master's arrangements. He had an almost blind worship for the little young master and the little young lady. One by one, people came to cause trouble and look at the results. Just like the little young lady said, that small bridge was the bridge of helplessness. Those who did good would be reincarnated into a good family, while those who did evil would be directly thrown into a pot of oil to be tormented. One thought to heaven, one thought to hell. There was no escape. The owners of the grain company didn't know what Steward Zhang was thinking. Seeing that there was still hope, they became happy again. Steward Zhang, are you telling the truth? Boss Jean carefully asked with a hopeful expression. Yes, Zhang family and Wang family. Zhuangzi doesn't intend to harm you. Just take the rest and you can still make money. That sickle is not bad, take it back and use it. It's easier to use than the original one. Steward Zhang said with a sincere expression. Good people, you are all good people, we are bad people. We didn't have good intentions when we first came. Do you still want to exchange for a shop in the capital? Don't worry. This time we won't keep a single copper coin. We'll take as much as we deserve. Boss Wang interjected at this time. There was no need to compensate and they could still make some money. Now that they looked good, they wouldn't come to cause trouble in the future. Zhuangzi was too evil. Steward Zhang smiled and said, "You can exchange for anything. Whatever is convenient for you, Zhuangzi will accept." "Oh, the rice soaked in the rain, what are your plans?" "If you are willing to sell it to Zhuangzi, Zhuangzi can use it to make wine." "The price?" "Just sell it at the normal price or a bit less." Boss Jean saw that people were willing to buy the rice that was not good for use even if they brought it back, so he quickly gave a price. "Xiao Bao, tomorrow we will go to Little Luoshui to play. I heard that there will be a lot of talented men and women there. Let's see what the dock looks like at this time of the year. If you have anything else to arrange, do it quickly." Wang Wan and Zhang Xiaobao had just finished their lesson and were chatting on the couch. "There is one more thing. Just now, the housekeeper sent someone to say that they are willing to sell the rice soaked in the rain." Zhang Xiaobao thought for a while. This was the only thing that was left. "Aren't you going to keep it to make wine?" Wang Wan planned to do so. "I won't use such good grains to make wine. Before we leave tomorrow morning, I'll get someone to bring them back and steam them to make rice cakes or popped rice flours. Each grain is better than ordinary rice. It's a waste to use them to make music or wine. I'll make more popped rice flours. When the time comes, I'll glue them with sugar and follow us to Little Luoshui. I reckon the price of selling them will be about the same as selling the seeds." Zhang Xiaobao turned over and faced Wang Wan and said. Wang Wan reached out and pinched Zhang Xiaobao's face. "Let me see how smart you are. They bought it with the same price as the seeds, but you bought it back with the same price as the normal rice. Then you reprocessed it and sold it at the same price as the seeds. If they knew about this, they would definitely regret it. This is the difference between raw material supply and deep processing. What we need to do in the future is to find more deep processing methods. Let's sleep. We will get up early tomorrow morning and go to Little Luoshui to get a small boat. You sit there and I will row. Can row very well. With a single paddle, I can make the boat reach the shore horizontally." "Don't brag. Aren't those who make a living on the river better than you? Can you row the paddle and make the boat reach the shore?" Wang Wan replied. "Can't do that. Can you?" Zhang Xiaobao admitted that he was not good enough. "Course. I can row the paddle against the shore and push the boat away in 2 strokes. Asterisk 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 asterisk. When the boat passed by, the ripples on the water gently curved. A handful of fish gathered together. The fairyland in the painting was once far away. The dreamland in the poem was never encountered. The dark clouds thinly penetrated the sunlight. The blue water surged and reflected the remaining green. The sound of the crowd was heard. The autumn geese were 2 lines of rain on the river." Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan got up early in the morning and rushed to the Little Luoshui River at noon. They just happened to see the sun penetrating the clouds, the drizzle like silk, the boat moving, the fish floating, the geese crying in the sky, and the human figure heading south. "So beautiful. Xiaobao, you get a camera. I'll take a picture of this. So beautiful. Looking at the landscape, it seems like it's fake. Seems like a splash ink landscape painting." Wang Wan was eating snacks made with sugar and made with a pot of rice that was hurriedly given to her in the morning. When she got off the car and saw such a charming scene, she began to talk nonsense. "The camera is not good. Why don't we use the tape used to shoot movies? That's more artistic. Once it's in the computer, there's no need to do any follow-up processing. That's settled. Keep the environment here. When we succeed in our research, we'll record it." Zhang Xiaobao still retained a little of his rationality. He knew that this matter was not much different from a dream. "Let's go. You said that the 2 of us went to the place where the scholars gathered to play. What should we say?" Wang Wan watched the geese leave and pulled Zhang Xiaobao to the shore, preparing to enter the first house in Linshui. "Can we say we're just looking, not talking?" Zhang Xiaobao replied seriously. Chapter 195. In the drizzle, the dock was still bustling with activity. The people carrying the goods only had a rough rag on their shoulders, and bags after bags of goods were placed on it. With a muffled groan, they grabbed the goods with both hands and walked away. They are just dock workers. Xiaobao, what are you looking at? Have you done this before? Wang Wan also knew that the work and income of the people who carried out the work was disproportionate compared to other people, but she couldn't stop it. After all, it was an income. Seeing Zhang Xiaobao standing there in a daze, she thought he was reminiscing about the past again. Zhang Xiaobao shook his head. No, I have never done this kind of work before. I can do it even if you ask me. Then what are you looking at? Are you pitying them? Wang Wan guessed. They are not pitiful. They rely on their own abilities to make a living. What is there to pity? I'm thinking if we can increase the efficiency. There are many advanced tools at the train station and docks. The throughput is tens of thousands of times higher than here. Zhang Xiaobao's eyes did not continue to stare at the people carrying the goods. Instead, they swept the flat ground beside the dock. If you can make those equipment, why don't you help me make the combine harvester? I will open an oil refinery for you. Wang Wan finally found an opportunity to return the favor. Don't you know how to change from automatic to manual? To put it simply, it is a pulley block. There is no need to tell the bearings. The wheels can be turned, and the iron wheels can still be turned. The teeth of the gears do not need to be so tight, and the quality does not need to be guaranteed. At worst, we can just replace it. It is better than letting people carry it bit by bit. Zhang Xiaobao did not plan to make any precision equipment. As long as there was a piece of lifting equipment and a chain that moved horizontally, it would increase the efficiency by a lot. There was no need for such a high degree of adhesion for the gears. He could make a few more, see which ones were suitable and put them on. Wang Wan's physics was better than Zhang Xiaobao's. Zhang Xiaobao did not learn the system at all. When he heard this idea, he thought about it and felt that it was really feasible. It was just a sturdy frame with chains and gears. The wooden wheels could be turned, so why couldn't it be changed to iron wheels? Regardless of whether it was made by hand or melted into molten iron, there wouldn't be a problem. The only problem was that the chain didn't seem to be flexible enough. With doubts in his heart, he asked Zhang Xiaobao, "Are you sure you can make iron chains? Then our bicycles are almost ready. Can't you use rope?" Hearing you ask, I know that iron chains can't be made. If iron can't be made, what about copper? Zhang Xiaobao did not know anything about this kind of things that involved middle school and above. He could only ask Wang Wan. Wang Wan thought for a moment and said, "Iron, copper, and rope don't really matter. As long as we find someone to make them, for example, iron, we can forge them with all our might. The quality is not bad, but what about the workers at the docks? When the efficiency of the dock increases, many people will lose their jobs. The workers will continue to be workers. The loading of the dock also needs people. After they are familiar with it, these people are the most important. For example, the distribution of goods or the binding of ropes, these are all knowledge. In addition to this, there is another thing. The bigger the dock's capacity, the more people it attracts, and the more goods it will attract. Using these tools to transport the goods to the shore, don't you need experienced workers to transport them?" Zhang Xiaobao thought more thoroughly in this regard than Wang Wan. Wang Wan was not stupid. After thinking about it, she stared at Zhang Xiaobao and said, "I understand. In other words, we did not give up the original industry. Instead, we added a new department and let those people have more jobs. What you want them to do is logistics in the middle. These people will not only help to do temporary transportation around the dock, but also help us to collect information. Just like the pricing power of the market in Zhuangzi, I want to know the price of various items in a certain place in the shortest time possible." Zhang Xiaobao was used to having information in his hands. Now that he had calculated so much, he had long felt that it was difficult. He only dared to play chess in a county. Without so much information to support, he could not make more accurate judgments and long-term plans. For him, the enemy was not terrifying because of their strength, but because of the unknown. "You are quite ambitious, aren't you? You even want to use this. What do you want to do? When Wang Wan heard the information, she also became spirited. She was also in this line of work. She was even more specific than Zhang Xiaobao. Zhang Xiaobao only wanted to know, but she was in charge of collecting information in the past. Nothing much. Didn't someone say that if you give him a fulcrum, he can move the earth? Then what I want to say is that if you give me accurate information, I can disrupt the universe, control the air and the sea. It doesn't matter. Only by controlling the information can we win. You are talking about control of electronic power, right? How big is your ambition? Wang Wan understood what he meant. My ambition is to one day eat whatever I want, wear whatever I want, and do whatever I want, Zhang Xiaobao said longingly. What do you mean? Wang Wan looked at Zhang Xiaobao with an unusual gaze. The scope is a little wider, for example, Do you know how to speak human language? I know you have been wandering around the world for a while. Don't try to fool around in front of me, you know. Yi. Hey. Zhang Xiaobao. Yes, I understand. It means to drink soy milk and want to boil sugar, boil red pond, boil red pond, boil red pond. Zhang Xiaobao looked at Wang Wan's disdainful gaze and finally admitted that sometimes, hard work and hard work were only equal to genius. He remembered that Wang Wan was proficient in 9 languages, including some regional dialects. When such a person existed in the world, he announced to the world that the 1% of talent that determined success or failure. Zhang Xiaobao, I am telling you seriously now that I won't allow you to think of anything else, Wang Wan said seriously. Zhang Xiaobao nodded. I'm not thinking of anything else. I'm just telling you the truth. I'm not afraid that you will laugh at me. Back then, I worked so hard to live on so that I could fulfill Grandpa Dean's last wish. I still don't know what love is. You give me candy and I give you fun things to play with. When disaster strikes, you reach out to me. That is love. Wang Wan thought for a while and replied. Then I don't want to implicate you, so I let go. That is heartless. Is it like the person who wrote 100 years ago? The mountains are without edges, and the heaven and earth are in harmony. Only then did I dare to fight with June. Zhang Xiaobao thought hard and finally thought of a better sentence to describe it. Wang Wan was so angry that she laughed. Shallow, what are you saying? When we go back, no need. Starting tonight, you will read the book of songs to me. I will let you know what is evil. I want to know with June Xiayusha. Dared to fight with June. Who are you calling shallow? Do you still want your husband's discipline? Zhang Xiaobao had never heard such a long sentence, and thought that it was only those 2 sentences. He glared at her and said unhappily, Who do you think I'm talking about? What discipline? Wang Wan glared back. That's right. What discipline? You misheard. What I said was, Meng Pa soup at the bridge of helplessness. Holding the bowl and looking back, one's intestines will be broken. Who says it is easy to forget in this life, and only wait for tomorrow to lie by the side? Zhang Xiaobao reacted quickly and quickly came up with a rhyme. So you're saying that in my last life or perhaps before we were fated to meet? Wang Wan listened to Zhang Xiaobao's words and laughed. Fated or not, 100 years of cultivation to sleep on the same pillow. Sleeping on the same pillow, holding an umbrella in the pouring rain. Holding an umbrella, not meeting in the vast sea of people. Not meeting the magpie flies, the moon is curved. Zhang Xiaobao saw that he had changed the topic and immediately continued. Wang Wan covered her mouth with her hand and leaned her head on Zhang Xiaobao's shoulder. Faintly she said, Little mouth, you're so smooth. Speak, how many girls have you tricked? What's the point of tricking girls? I've always been eyeing men to trick. Xiaobao, don't say any more. Let's go to the first house in Lin Shui first. I want to eat some ginger, it's disgusting. Then don't vomit on me. I don't know what you're thinking about all day. Asterisk. Brother Jia, you've come late. You should be punished with a cup of wine. It's fine if you offend us, but if you neglect a beauty, then you've committed a great crime. In the first house in Lin Shui, In a single room on the third floor, a person had just entered when he was stopped by the person guarding the door. The person had a cup of wine in his hand and insisted that this person drink it. The person called Brother Jia swept his eyes across the room. He saw that the woman next to the farmer was looking back. Without saying anything, he took the wine cup and raised his head to drink it. He said, "A cup of good wine is also a cup of purity. Don't let your emotions lead you to the beauty." Good poem. Just as this person with the surname Jia finished speaking, someone loudly shouted from the side, "Brother Wayne, you're really talented. Just one cup of wine and you're able to write a poem." Another person praised. From the way they addressed each other, it was obvious that they were close. Jia Weiran did not look smug. He cupped his hands and raised his head. Just as he was about to receive the woman's gaze, he realized that the woman had already turned her head away. She was looking at the scenery outside through the window. All that was left was her graceful back view. "Brother Weiran, quick, sit here." The person who had expressed his friendliness just now raised his hand to greet Jia Weiran. However, Jia Weiran didn't walk towards him. Instead, he went to another window and signaled the person there to leave with his gaze. Then he sat down. "Xiaoying, there's not much scenery outside. Why don't we talk about poems together? It's better than looking at those indecent people working naked, right?" Just as he sat down, Jia Weiran said to the woman by the window on the other side. Unfortunately, the woman did not turn her head. He could only see the side of her face. Just as he was about to say something, another person appeared at the door. He must have heard Jia Weiran's voice and said, "That's not right. Brother Jia, that's not right. Why are the people below naked? Are they not wearing pants? There's a piece of linen on their shoulders. From what I see, that piece of linen looks better than some people's headscarf. What do you think?" "So it's Mr. Han. I didn't expect Mr. Han to be so gracious at today's gathering. Mr. Han, come and sit here." The people at the table seemed to recognize the new person at the door. They all greeted him. The person standing at the door smiled and nodded. He did not wait for others to say anything about the punishment and poured himself a cup. "I'm a little late. I deserve to be punished." As he finished speaking, he walked to the window and stood behind Jia Weiran. He looked at the situation below and said, "I have a few lines that I'd like to share with all of you. It's for fun. The tides on both sides of the Luoshui River. The 3 autumn leaves are yellow and the 4 seasons are sparse. Can't eat more than the 5 grains. How can the harvest be good enough to guard the 6 lines? 7 turns and 8 turns into this place. 9 arms, 10 stones, 100 shoulders. Thousands of helpers gather like ants. Thousands of people get rice. 10 ships, 9 villages, 8 miles, 7 days, 6 hours. Forgot to mention the 5 classics and 4 virtues. Just a few words," one person ridiculed. "Han Xianfeng, you dare to scold me for forgetting the 5 classics and 4 virtues of a gentleman. I'll fight it out with you." The one with the surname Jia was not bad. He knew what the other party was talking about. When autumn came, the people of Sanshui County would run out of food. How could they follow the rules of whether to wear clothes? They were in a hurry to pick out the food. Tens of thousands of people worked together to deliver the food to the local people, even at night. Only those who had forgotten their fathers, mothers, brothers, friends, and the 4 virtues of a gentleman would show off their knowledge and mock the people there. Unable to hold back his anger, he turned and pounced on Han Xianfeng. The people around him naturally would not let him succeed. They pulled him and said Han Xuanfeng's lines. "So lively. There are so many people. Xiao Bao, come in. Brothers and sisters, you can talk. We're not causing trouble. We're just here to watch and not talk. We even brought our own stools." While the people were tearing, Wang Wan pulled Zhang Xiaobao and walked in. She smiled shyly at the others and explained. She dragged Zhang Xiaobao in. Each of them took a folding stool and ran to a corner to sit down. Chapter 196. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan wanted to see what was going on, so they really did come over. They carried their stools and placed them in a corner of the room. Hugging a bag in their arms, they blinked their big eyes at those people. All the scholars were stunned. The one surnamed Jia didn't want to fight with the one surnamed Han anymore. Even the girls who were watching the commotion curiously turned their gazes to the two children who had suddenly walked in. When Wang Wan and Zhang Xiaobao came over, they purposely went to a small courtyard specially reserved for Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan to change their clothes. Wang Wan didn't wear dresses like before. Instead, she wore a pink dress that reached her armpits. Her shoulders and arms were covered by a thin layer of cloth that reached her waist. Her tiger head shoes were modified into the shape of a chicken fluffy ball that she had designed herself. A large bow was inserted into her loose hair. 2 small bamboo pieces were specially used to clip her eyelashes. Wei Wei's hair was perked up. There was no glue to hold it in place, making it look more natural. Zhang Xiaobao's clothes were also designed by Wang Wan. It was a white silk short-sleeved shirt that wasn't so tight. It looked a little fluffy. The front of the shirt was open, and only 3 of the 5 buttons were buttoned. The bottom and top buttons were unbuttoned. Below that, he wore a pair of indigo bloomers. There was a fluffy ball of goose fluffy ball in front of his shoes. These 2 styles of clothes were slightly different from the current ones. Fortunately, there were people wearing all kinds of clothes now. There were many strange clothes, so there was no need to worry about being criticized. In the eyes of others, the 2 of them were unbearably adorable, especially the girls in the middle, who stared unblinkingly at these 2 interesting little guys. If they weren't worried about the adults coming over later, they would have hugged them and kissed them with all their might. "Little brother, little sister, how did you come up here? How old are you?" A girl didn't hug them. Instead, she bent down and asked softly. The 3rd floor was not a good place to be. There were only 4 such rooms on the entire 3rd floor. They were specially designed to extend out from the entire 2nd floor. The lower floor was basically empty. There was only 1 such room at each of the 4 corners of the 3rd floor. It was a circular place with windows around it, allowing one to see more of the scenery. This could be considered the 2nd best room. From here one could see the river, the mountains, and the pier. There was another room connected to this room. One had to walk through that room to enter this room. That room was guarded by a waiter. The waiter definitely did not let the 2 children in because he was lazy and did not notice. That could only mean that the 2 children often appeared in this place. The waiter knew them, so the family should have some money. Looking at the clothes they were wearing, he could also see that the clothes they were wearing would cost 20 or 30 taels of silver. Especially the clothes that the little girl was wearing. He could see the white skin underneath. However, he discovered that there were 3 layers of muslin at the collar. The woman just wanted to know what the 2 children were doing at home. He didn't want to provoke the 2 children by not answering correctly. "This beautiful older sister, we walked up here. We are 4 years old this year." Wang Wan replied and gave the woman a sweet smile. She was not wrong. According to the nominal age, they were indeed 4 years old. After some days they would be 3 years old. Zhang Xiaobao did not speak at this time. He felt uncomfortable talking to others like this. He did not want to pretend to be a child unless it was necessary. When he was with his family, he liked to be hugged and kissed by his grandparents or parents. Wang Wan was not willing to do this, saying that he was suffering from the orphan syndrome. 4 years old, you are so sensible. Then tell older sister, what are you here to see? Aren't your family worried? The woman was happy to be praised by the child. She thought that the child was telling the truth. She did not expect that the 2 children in the corner could almost call the wind and summon the rain in the entire Sanshui County. They secretly supported Zhang Wang and Zhuangzi. With a small bridge as the dividing line, they blocked groups of people who wanted to do bad things. Don't be afraid. When the time comes, we will go back. We are not running around. We are just here to see, not to interrupt. Wang Wan was still there with a sweet smile. This was the first time that she and Zhang Xiaobao had traveled so far to play. Naturally, they were happy. Oh, then don't sit in the corner. Come here and eat something. What do you like to eat? The food of the first restaurant in Linshui is not worse than the big restaurants in the capital. There are also some signature dishes that are not available elsewhere. Come to older sister. The woman waved her hand and did not care whether the two children could understand or not. She introduced them. Wang Wan shook her head. No, you eat your food. We brought some food for ourselves. Mom said that we can't eat other people's food. We will leave in a while. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan did not move. They just stayed there, and the others could not do anything about it. If other people suddenly entered the room, they would drive them out and find the waiter to question them. However, when they saw the two lovely children, they could not say anything to drive them away. They did not want the waiter to take them away. At this time, young Master Jia saw that the beauty in his heart was also staring at the children. He could only temporarily put down his attack on the man surnamed Han. The main reason was that he knew that he could not beat him. He was not good in literature and he was not good in body. Fortunately, his family was better than this man. Thinking of his family, he felt a little better. Sanshui County was good, so his life in the future would be better. Therefore, he changed his angry look and said to the beauty in his heart, Xiaoying, look down there. Is there any place that is uncomfortable? I asked someone to change it. Young Master Jia, do you mean that you want to control other people's place? They bought this place. Do you think you can change it just because you want to? Young Master Han seemed to dislike young Master Jia. Others did not dare to say such things, but he dared. The woman named Xiaoying heard him and nodded in agreement. That's true. After Sanshui County has this dock, the lives of the people will be better than usual. Think it's good. If I really want to change something, it's better to repair the road, especially the section past the bridge. Put more stones, so that when the snow melts after winter, it won't delay the transportation of goods. Xiaoying is right. The road must be repaired. The people at the dock will pay for it. They are the ones who damaged the road. In a few days we will ask them to repair it. Not only the road but also a Xingzai here. Young Master Jia agreed without thinking, as if he had the final say in Sanshui County. Wang Wan, who was sitting in the corner, was not willing. She muttered to Zhang Xiaobao, that man surnamed Jia is arrogant. Does he think he is the emperor if we ask him to cultivate here? She said it softly. At this time, everyone was thinking about what Jia Di said. The house was quiet and someone heard it. Perhaps Wang Wan meant the same thing. Jia Weiran looked at the two children. He did not like children. He stared at Wang Wan and said, Little girl, don't you know who I am? Ask the adults in your family if they dare to talk to me like this. No, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Xiao Bao. Wang Wan looked scared and said sadly, Young Master Jia, why do you have to do this to a child? Little girl, his name is Xiao Bao. What's your name? It's noon. You must be hungry. Come and see what you want to eat. I'll get some for you. The woman beside them was not willing. Why did he scare such a good child? Moreover, she was so sensible. Wang Wan was not so scared this time. Sister, I'm cuckoo. We brought our own food. Seeing that they were rejected again, the scholars and beauties did not care anymore. They ate and drank while talking about random things. Occasionally, a few of the girls would look at Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan did not have any food. They took out food from the bag in front of them and listened to the others talk. They also ate. Jia Weiran wanted to talk more with Xiaoying, but he found that Xiaoying kept looking at the two children. He was angry. He saw that the two children took out some kind of smoked meat in the oil paper bag, but it was definitely not beef. He picked up a piece of marinated beef and said to Zhang Xiaobao, You're Xiaobao, right? Don't eat that. Come and eat something good. I have marinated beef here. Beef. You can't eat it usually. The color of your marinated pork is not good. Zhang Xiaobao raised his head helplessly. He held the meat in his hand so that others could see. Beef is not easy to get. It will be troublesome to kill it directly. You guys eat. We'll eat some of this smoked venison. You guys eat. Don't worry about him. He doesn't know what pork is, what deer is, and definitely doesn't know about marinated meat. Young Master Han said carefreely. The two girls could not help but laugh. Jia Weiran's face turned green. He was embarrassed. He said that the meat in the other party's hand was not good and wanted to give him beef. In the end, the other party had venison. Beef was precious because it was used for farming, but it could not be compared to venison. Looking carefully, the venison looked like it was from the neck. There were even tendons on it. The small piece in the other party's hand was enough to buy the few dishes on the table. What happened today would spread to everyone he knew. What was that? The little girl took out a thick bamboo tube. Did she want to drink water? Just as Jia Weiran was feeling frustrated, he saw Wang Wan take out a thick bamboo tube. He glanced at the bamboo shoot soup and chicken soup on the table, and finally felt that he had a chance to regain some face. He said, "Cuckoo, don't drink water. Come and drink this soup. It's made from bamboo shoots. It's not easy to keep it until now." "I didn't drink water. I'm eating," Wang Wan explained softly. She took out a big lump of soaked wood ear from the bamboo tube. There was only one wood ear, and it was the size of a small bowl. She took a bite and brought it to Zhang Xiaobao for him to take a bite. Ha 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 ha. Young Master Han could not help but laugh. He pointed at Jia Weiran with one hand and held his stomach with the other. Not only him, but the others also laughed. One of them squatted on the floor and grabbed his hair to stop laughing. Chapter 197. In the beginning, everyone had already guessed that the two children's family was well-to-do, but they didn't expect it to be so well-to-do. It was fine if it was just venison, but there was also such a big piece of wood ear. Seeing them finish it in a short time, everyone felt that it was a pity. Such a big piece of wood ear could be used to stir-fry a dish or boil a few bowls of soup, but it was eaten raw by the two children. How much money did the family have to get such a big piece of wood ear? Since they could let the children eat it raw, they definitely wouldn't care. Hearing the laughter of others, Jia Weiran was no longer angry. His only worry was that the children would tell the adults of the family what he said just now. He didn't know whose family these two children belonged to. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan took out another big piece of wood ear. The bamboo tube was empty and put aside. The two of them ate this as well and then took out the garlic. Everyone was stunned. Garlic was not a big deal as everyone loved to eat it. Some people would first ask if there was any garlic when they arrived at a restaurant. If there wasn't, they would go to another restaurant and eat it. However, when the two children finished eating the garlic and took out the 2 4-inch long prawns that were frozen in ice, they were finally moved again. Such long prawns were actually eaten cold. If it were an ordinary person, they would feel bad. The prawns that they occasionally ate were only about an inch long. There should be more ways to cook such prawns, and not just freeze them after they were cooked. What was extravagance? This was it. Using precious ingredients to make simple dishes was a symbol of wealth and wealth. Everyone watched as the two children finished the food. When they thought that there was nothing left to eat, Zhang Xiaobao took out 2 bamboo tubes. These were the ones he kept in his bag. He pulled out 2 cucumbers with thorns. Without washing them, he rubbed the thorns off with his hands and put them in his mouth. He began to chew on them. "Cuckoo, can you tell me? Where did you get fresh cucumbers?" The girl called Xiaoying finally couldn't help but ask. She loved eating cucumbers the most. In summer, she would rather not have other fruits than cucumbers, especially raw ones. She ate a lot in a day. "I plucked it from the seedlings. Big sister wants to eat it. Yes, there are 2 roots." While speaking, Wang Wan took out 2 more bamboo tubes from Zhang Xiaobao's bag. She stood up, ran to the table, and put them in front of Xiaoying on tiptoe. "I'm asking you where I can buy it. Can you tell me?" Just as Jia Weiran was about to question them, he suddenly thought of the adults behind the 2 little ones, so he switched to a more amiable tone. I'm not selling no matter how much you offer. Let's wait until winter, Wang Wan said as she walked towards the corner. Is your family from Sanshui County? Jia Weiran asked again. Yes, I'm from this county. What do you want? Wang Wan turned around and asked. Haha, Sanshui County. That's great. Do you know who I am? Jia Weiran was elated when he heard that the two kids were from Sanshui County. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan didn't ask more questions like Jia Weiran. They continued eating their cucumbers. Jia Weiran had to say it himself. The next county magistrate of Sanshui County is my father. You guys don't know yet, right? New county magistrate. Oh no, he's really from the outside. Wang Wan mouthed to Zhang Xiaobao. Yes, he even brought along a good-for-nothing son. It's the father's fault if he doesn't teach his son well. It's the teacher's fault if he doesn't teach his son well. From this, we can see what kind of person the new county magistrate is. There's no news yet, which means that the new county magistrate has connections in the imperial court. Let's arrange it later. When he comes, we'll show him. Zhang Xiaobao didn't suspect that Jia Weiran was lying. Looking at the expressions of the others, he knew that it must be so. Since the county magistrate wasn't from the local area and had a son from the outside, they had to make the necessary preparations as soon as possible. Wang Wan and Wei Wei nodded. Then what should we do? Should we show him who's boss? Shouldn't we let the people from the yamen receive him? Logically speaking, County Magistrate Cheng should wait for the new county magistrate to arrive before leaving. I didn't expect him to leave first. He only left his official seal and other things in the hands of the registrar, and waited for the new county magistrate to arrive. That's not all. Usually, we have to wait for the new county magistrate to arrive after the new year. Based on what he said just now, he should be here soon. We have to show him who's boss, but we can't let the people from the yamen not receive him. If we want to receive him, we have to do it with great fanfare. Zhang Xiaobao instantly thought of how to deal with it. When the time came, he still had to see if the new county magistrate was as greedy as they thought and didn't care about the lives of the people. The two of them mouthed to each other. No one could hear what they were saying. They could only see their lips moving slightly. Jia Weiran was afraid because they were two children and knew his identity. He was confident and asked, "Where are you from? Tell me, I'll help you if there's a small matter." He actually wanted to please Xiaoying, the daughter of the Qi family. Her family was also an official. As for whether he would really help in the future, it would depend on how many gifts the families of the two children gave. Before Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan could say anything, the one with the surname Han said, "Jia Weiran, your father hasn't taken office yet and you're already bullying others? If we ask you for help, won't we have money to spend? Cuckoo Xiaobao, don't be afraid of him. Tell me if there's anything at home, I'll ask Sister Qi to help you." That Qi Xiaoying also said, "That's right, you're so sensible. If there's any trouble you can ask someone to send you here. We'll come here to play when we're free. What does your family do? Sister Qi is so nice, and Brother Han is so nice too. My family is a farmer, so is Xiao Bao's family. Sister Qi wants to come here often. Then take this. In the future, when you come to the wharf, all the shops with rice flags will only charge 70% for food and 90% for things." Wang Wan realized that this woman with the surname Qi must be from an extraordinary family. Since she had a chance to get in touch with her, she immediately took out a sign from her bag. She also took out a piece of ink and wet it with water. She stuck her hand on it and pressed it behind the wooden sign when it was dark. Then, she took out a small knife used to cut meat and carved a word on it before handing it to Qi Xiaoying. Everyone watched Wang Wan's series of actions. When the two of them gave the sign to Qi Xiaoying and left together, they all gasped at the same time. They finally knew where these two children came from. They were farmers. Of course, Zhang Wang and Zhuangzi from Tuqiao village in Sanshui County were farmers. But their farmers were different from others. "Jia Weiran, young Master Jia, your father is the county magistrate. What a high position. Zhang Wang and Zhuangzi need your help. Haha, I'm dying of laughter. When your father comes here, we'll see who's asking who. I think the two children will tell their families what you said just now. Oh, also, didn't you say that you want to set up a bank here? You even want them to pay for the road. Cuckoo and Xiaobao heard it. How sensible. Do you think such sensible children will forget what you said? Xiaoying is still the smart one. She got them to give her a sign. We can save a lot of money today. That sign is not only useful in the first shop near the water. It's also useful in the entire docks. Can be used anywhere with that flag, including some small boats. Also, between the clouds and the water in Tuqiao village. Xiaoying, everyone is here today. They gave you a sign. If there's anything in the future, you can't refuse to help. Otherwise, that little girl will be sad. She's such a well-behaved child. If she cries because you don't help, my heart will ache. The man with the surname Han said a few words to the stunned Jia Weiran. Then he pointed to Xiaoying, who was holding the wooden sign, and told her what she should do. Jia Weiran nodded his head blankly. He admitted that young Master Han was right. When the time came, it would be hard to say who would have to beg who. The Zhang and Wang families of Zhuangzi were already listed on the board. Without them, there wouldn't be the current prosperity of Sanshui County. Liangpi, Jianbing, workers at the docks, chauffeurs, shop assistants, rented space, imported soybeans, plows, soy sauce at low prices, and new grains for old grains. The whole of Sanshui County was already branded with their brand. There were also those scholars who wrote poems and essays here, as well as those hand-embroidered poems and essays. Which one of them didn't make people sigh in admiration? Zhongjia Zhuangzi was already deeply ingrained in people's hearts. If they said something at a critical moment, it would be more effective than the government. Not to mention other things, as long as the two children told others about their identities and got lost, many people in Sanshui County would help to protect them. The people from the carriage company would even send a team of carriages to escort them. What did he say just now? It was over. He didn't need to rely on the two children to keep his identity a secret. How could such sensible children not know what he meant? His mouth, why did he ask for it so much? Just as Jia Weiran was regretting, the waiter outside came in. Now, no one would ask them why they let the two children run into the house. They had their own shop so they could go wherever they wanted. If it was an adult who came to offer a toast, it would be giving them face. The two children were so cute, calling each other big brother and big sister, so it was not a small matter. Everyone just now, the young master and the young lady told me that a young lady with the surname Qi took a sign and asked me to remember it. Today, all the wine and dishes will be on the house, and we will give her 2 catties of fresh cucumbers. In the future, if you want to eat cucumbers, as long as you get someone to bring the sign here, you can give her 2 catties of fresh cucumbers every day. If there are guests in the house, you can buy them up to 5 catties. As the waiter spoke, he looked in Qi Xiaoying's direction. Just now, when Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan went out, they asked around about Qi Xiaoying's family background. She was also an official in the imperial court. For a few generations, there would be people who were officials. Although the position was not very high, they had a strong foundation. They had to be generous when giving gifts and could not miss it. Many people wanted to give gifts but did not have the chance. Ah! So many cucumbers. That's great, we can eat them every day in the future. Waiter, take this bangle and give it to Cuckoo. Tell her that big sister thanks her. Qi Xiaoying loved to eat cucumbers. She did not expect that they would give her cucumbers directly. As long as there was a sign, they would give her cucumbers every day. She could even buy 5 catties of cucumbers when she served the guests. As she spoke, she took off the bangle on her wrist and passed it to the waiter. Chapter 198. Everyone, I suddenly remembered that I still have something to do at home. I'll take my leave now. The more Jia Weiran thought about it, the more worried he got. He prepared to go home first. Everyone could understand how he felt. This was going to be troublesome. When the 2 kids, Xiao Bao and Cuckoo, went back and told him about this, who knew what would happen if his father wanted to take office? After Zhao Weiran left, the rest of the people looked at each other and suddenly laughed. Today was really fun. I didn't expect to meet two kids. Speaking of the children of the Zhang family and the Wang family, Zhuangzi, they are the happiest. They have been together since they were young. It's much better than those random families that their parents found for them. Sister Qi, don't you think so? A woman sighed and said. She was envious of Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. They had been together since they were young. When they grew up, how could there be any estrangement? Another man who was more burly said, "It's not just that. Look at where they were sitting just now. It's right in the corner. The one called Xiao Bao is always facing us with his left side. Wei Wei is facing sideways, and the one called Cuckoo is leaning back a little. They also have knives. If I'm not wrong, if someone really wants to attack them, even if they don't use weapons, they would at least be injured. Xiao Bao's right arm is not taken out from the side of his body when he is eating. He's not used to eating with his left hand. Don't be fooled by how smoothly he eats. When he's not eating, his right shoulder will move a little. Yeah, it's the same when he's walking. His right hand is always blocking. Could it be that his right hand is not good? So pitiful." The woman who spoke just now sighed. "What's pitiful? His right hand is holding the weapon, and his left side is facing us. When he moves, he can use the force of turning to use the weapon in his right hand. It's hard for people to guard against him. Think about how they were sitting just now. Cuckoo is a girl, so she should have her legs together. However, Wei Wei was the one with her legs apart. Xiao Bao even had one leg in front and one behind. I thought about it for a while before I understood. If someone were to rush over to attack them, that Xiao Bao would turn around when he stabs his weapon, and Wan Wan would switch positions behind him. If Wan Wan could also attack, then after switching positions, the attacker would be restrained by Xiao Bao. According to their height, as long as the knife was sharp enough, Wang Wan could stab it into the attacker's stomach. These two children are not ordinary. Fortunately, young Master Jia did not lower himself to the children's level. Otherwise, if you really wanted to bully them, you would easily fall here. The strong man stood up, holding a pair of chopsticks in his hand. As he spoke, he gestured to the others. He used a stool as Wang Wan, and replaced Zhang Xiaobao's position. When someone came in front of him, he turned around and used the chopsticks in his right hand to stab that person. His feet did not stop moving, and after the stab, he shifted his position again. His body turned in a circle, and he used the chopsticks to stab that person. If the chopsticks were a knife, the person in front of him would definitely block it. However, after he shifted his position, the stool was exposed. That was Wang Wan. As long as there was a sharp knife, he could grab it with both hands and pounce forward. The person in front of him would be exposed. So that's how it is. That's so scary. When the two children were sitting there, they were guarding against us. Fortunately, young Master Jia did not go over. The woman finally understood the knack of switching positions. She did not expect that the two children sitting there were not simple. No wonder their backs were leaning against the wall. Young Master Han nodded. Indeed, they are not ordinary. This means that they have been taught by others. With the wealth of the Zhang family and Wang family, it is too easy to get two good daggers. Perhaps they even have poison on them. Zhao Weiran is in trouble now. I wonder if Cuckoo will make a move if there is really danger. If it were me, I would. Even if I don't have such a good dagger, I would use the hairpin on my head to stab it. However, the most dangerous one is Xiao Bao. He will be the first to face the attack. Cuckoo is the happiest person to be able to grow up with such a person, Qi Xiaoying said with a look of yearning. At the same time, she looked at Han Xianfeng who was beside her. This Xianfeng was his nickname. His real name was Han Chong Han Suejiu. There was no need to say more about his literary talent. Just based on the fact that he could go from 1 to 10,000 in the blink of an eye, and then from 10,000 to 1 he could write a poem. Moreover, he carried a treasured sword. It was said that his horsemanship and archery skills were not bad either. He was the only one left in his family. He had never been a wanderer like the others. He relied on his own efforts to write for others, or to hold down carriages or boats. He did not have much money and did not ask for help. He had never done anything bad. At least that was what she knew. He was also quite generous. It was said that there was once a family of 2 children who were washed away by the water. He was the one who chased after them and carried them out. He was almost swallowed by the waves and was only caught by a tree after rushing for more than a mile. Unfortunately, his family background was not as good. Or rather, he did not have any family background. He was only one person. If he had a Zhuangzi, then she. Even if she could not compare to Zhangjia Zhuangzi, a slightly more ordinary Zhuangzi would do. Perhaps she could think of a way and ask Cuckoo how her family did it. Then, it would not be too troublesome to get him a Zhuangzi. She would go look for Cuckoo tomorrow. Such a sensible child would know a lot of things. If he could earn more money, she would have an excuse to tell her family. Qi Xiaoying suddenly thought of this and decided to help Han Xianfeng. Otherwise there would be no time left. Her family was constantly looking for people, and if it weren't for the fact that those people were too unpresentable, she would have been married already. Xiaoying is indeed an extraordinary woman. If it were me, I would also be willing to stand beside her like Xiao Bao. Young Master Han did not know if it was because he was drunk or if he said this on purpose. After speaking, he did not dare to look at Qi Xiaoying. Every time she looked at him, he would avoid her gaze. Jia Weiren came out of the restaurant and did not dare to waste any time. He found a carriage and paid double the price to get the driver to rush towards the capital. From here to the capital, it would only take 1 day on horseback if it was fast, 2 days if it was slower, and more than 3 days if it was by car. This time he wanted to see what Sanshui County was like. He had heard many things, but he felt that it would be better to see it with his own eyes. This time he finally saw it. The drought in Sanshui County was not a big problem. From time to time there would be ships transporting food. The local people were also looking for work. There were many small businesses and many people helping to carry goods at the docks. In addition, they were exempted from taxes and transfers. After the autumn harvest, the people still had some spare food in their homes. However, the only difficult thing was the Zhuangzi of Zhang family and Wang family. Before he came here he had asked around. The whole Yamen actually treated the 2 Zhuangzi as their own family. At crucial times, they would even send a message of good news from 800 miles away. Originally, he wanted to find an opportunity to meet the 2 families. Who would have thought that this meeting would be under such circumstances? The 2 children had heard everything. He did not mention anything about Xing Zai, nor did he mention who should pay for the road. Instead of counting on the 2 children to return home, he might as well hurry to the capital and find his father to discuss this matter. "Brother, that you are also from Sanshui County?" Jia Weiren thought for a while and decided to find some fault with the Zhang family and Wang family. Now he could only get some information from the carriage. Therefore, he leaned against the window in front of him and asked, "You flatter me. Young master, you should be like the others and call me Madman Ma. I am indeed from here. Originally, my father was the one driving the carriage. However, he was old and didn't do it anymore. It just so happened that he passed it to me." The carriage was a young man. When he heard the question, he quickly replied and cracked the whip at the same time. "Oh brother, why do you have such a name? I wonder how uncle is doing now. I heard that because of the drought, the harvest at home was not much." Jia Weiren followed the conversation and said. The carriage retracted his leg and called for the horse twice before saying, "My surname is Ma. In addition, I drive so fast like a madman. Others call me Crazy Ma. Actually, I was just fast that day. I drank too much wine and did not think about how tired the horse would be. I just kept on driving with all my might. My father is not bad now. He does not have many things to do. He is much better than before. Young master, since you are in such a hurry to go to the capital, do you need me to urge the horse again?" "No need. It will be bad if it is tired. I heard that the Zhang family and Wang family have many things to do in Zhuangzi. They are in Tuqiao village. It is said that they are trying to raise the price of goods. I don't know if it is true or not. Jia Weiran casually asked. Fake. I know a little about what's going on over there. They've never done anything like raising prices. There must be someone who's jealous and spreading this rumor. If I find out who it is, I'll let them know if my whip hurts. The carriage looked like he was going to fight to the death. He was there to clear the name of the Zhang family and Wang family in Zhuangzi. Jia Weiran obviously did not want to hear such words. Therefore he asked again, "Then they treat you well? Do they usually give you some money? If not, why would so many people help them buy the dregs of the wine?" Hearing this, the carriage handle smiled and said, "There are indeed benefits. Just like what you said, they give us some money. As long as we make 1 or 2 small flags on the carriage or beside the carriage, they will give us money every month. Although it is not much, it is better than nothing." Make flags. What is it for? Jia Weiran really did not know about this. He remembered that when he got on the carriage, he did see a sign on the carriage saying something about a cloth company. He even drew a picture. Only then did he understand that they could pay for it. This is called advertising. I don't know either. Anyway, as long as you put it on the carriage, they will give you money. The carriage handle continued. Chapter 199. Jia Weiran nodded. He knew about this advertisement. In fact, it was the same as hiring people to advertise in some places. There were pictures and words. Those who could read would look at the words, while those who couldn't read would look at the pictures. He didn't expect that there would be such an advertisement. He asked curiously, "Then how much do they pay you every month?" Cart handle flicked the whip again. He hesitated for a moment before saying, "This is not so accurate. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. For example, if you want me to bring you to the capital, then after this trip, other than the fare you gave me, I'll get an extra 10 copper coins. Usually, it's 20 copper coins a month. This month I've made 2 trips outside, so I've gotten an extra 16 copper coins. In total, it's 36 copper coins." Why is it so much? Jia Weiran couldn't understand. This matter was very unusual. He believed that after he figured it out and told his father, it would be useful. If we go far, then we'll let the people outside know that there's a cloth shop here. Naturally, we'll get a lot more. I'll also help to send out 100 printed pieces. That's all. Cart handle answered quickly. He took out something from his pocket and showed it to Jia Weiran. Jia Weiran took it. He could read and saw that it was about the cloth shop. It even said that when he went to the cloth shop with this piece of paper, he didn't have to pay for the ride in Sanshui County. It was strange. How could there be such a good thing? If he didn't have to pay for it, who would pay for the ride? Could it be that cart handle would give it away for free? This cloth shop is opened by the Zhang family and the Wang family in Zhuangzi. No, they don't sell cloth. You must want to ask who will pay for the ride, right? Of course, it's the cloth shop. We drivers have signed a contract with them. As long as we pull people over, regardless of whether they buy or not, we'll pay for the ride. It's a little less than usual, only half of the usual amount. Not only the cloth trade, but the other grain trade, meat trade, and clothing shops were also like this. As long as someone had this kind of paper, we would pull it to the place and let the shop pay for it. Also, in Sanshui County, the price of the carriage was set according to the distance it took to travel. Why don't you think about it? From Little Luoshui to between the clouds and the water, at most 3 people can sit in the carriage, and the fee is only 17 copper coins. From Little Luoshui to the Yamen, it only costs 2 copper coins. There's a bridge at Little Luoshui. If you insist on taking the carriage from here to there, the fee is 1 copper coin. If you walk all the way to the place that sells candles, the fee is also 1 copper coin. Che Handlebar explained patiently. Jia Weiran listened for a while and was confused at the same time. Then how much is it? What's the maximum amount? At least 1 copper coin. It's hard to say more. If you insist on having someone drive the carriage to Bashu, I estimate that it would cost at least 50 to 60 taels of silver. Also, if you feel that this speed is too slow, you can go faster, but you have to increase the fee. The horses are tired and won't be willing to run for a few days. Cheba memorized all these details, so when someone asked, he could answer immediately. The person pulling the carriage was a mule, also known as a horse. It didn't pull too slowly, and it didn't stop to eat when it saw the grass by the side. The road wasn't good and it was a little bumpy. The carriage didn't have any shock absorbers. Jia Weiren listened to Cheba's explanation while swaying. He wanted to use his own understanding to understand, but the more he thought, the more confused he became. He could only continue asking, "Why is it so expensive to go to such a far place? If you travel by yourself, 20 to 30 taels of silver should be enough." "That's different. People like us are afraid of accidents. If you want my carriage to go to such a place, even if it's just you, there will be 2 carriages and 2 horses traveling together. I'm not even talking about money. One horse will travel half a mile in front of the carriage, the other horse will travel 1 mile behind the carriage, and the other will follow behind. If the carriage in front breaks down, the carriage behind will take over. If there's danger, whichever side is in trouble, the person riding on the other side will remind them. That's the rule. For example, at night, the price will be higher than during the day. You can only travel with a companion, in case you encounter robbers and don't even have a messenger." Cheba was happy when he talked about this. This was a rule set by the carriage company. In the past, there was no such thing. It was County Magistrate Tang who discussed this with the owner before he left. Now, he didn't have to worry about traveling at night. During the summer, the bailiffs of the yamen had taken good horses. Regardless of whether it was day or night, there were people constantly patrolling the entire county. These things were bought with the tax money paid by the docks. They had also recruited more bailiffs. In any place in the county, even in the most remote village, it wouldn't take more than 2 hours for a bailiff to ride by on horseback. Cheba didn't want to keep this a secret, so he explained the situation to Jia Weiren. When Jia Weiren heard this, he gritted his teeth. No wonder the tax paid was so little this year. The document only emphasized the drought in the county, but didn't mention the docks making money. Whenever the docks were mentioned, it was replaced with words of someone doing a good deed. The money was all used to buy horses and recruit people. The bailiffs didn't need to be appointed by the imperial court. The county could find them themselves. How much money was spent? When he thought about how much money his father had spent to get this position, he felt heartache. He thought that he could get some benefits when he came to the county that was supposed to be rich. He didn't expect that he would use up the money before he left. He wanted to know more about how much money was spent, so he asked again. "If that's the case, there should be more than 100 bailiffs in the county, right? Is it the same for horses? I don't know why it takes less than 2 hours to get to the furthest place, but why is there only 1 bailiff? It seems that 2 hours isn't enough to get there from the yamen, right? 100 bailiffs. How is that enough? Originally there were only this many. Now there are more than 400 bailiffs in the entire Sanshui County. Everyone has a horse. My third uncle's son is always fooling around, but this time he was recruited as a bailiff. That brother of mine always quarreled with his uncle and aunt, making my uncle worry all day. Now he has become more honest and knows how to be filial to his parents. He has something to do so he can laugh all day and doesn't gamble anymore. I heard that on the second day he became a bailiff, my aunt went to visit him at the yamen. In the end, he quarreled with her for a while and was beaten 20 times. The county magistrate said that people who are not filial to their parents can't be good to the people. They can't be expected to work hard for the safety of the people. A bailiff goes to the furthest place every 2 hours. When one bailiff has been gone for almost 2 hours, another bailiff goes there on horseback. There are more people, so it's easier. Basically, there will be 2 batches of bailiffs every 15 minutes at Shao Luo Shui and Tuqiao village. Especially Tuqiao village. All the bailiffs sent are former bailiffs. The county magistrate said that nothing is allowed to happen there. Che Baosher said a lot of things that he liked to say in one breath. After Jia Weiren heard this, he was stunned. Suddenly he was happy and asked, "Why did they send such good bailiffs to Tuqiao village? Is it not peaceful there?" "How can it not be peaceful? There are two Zhuangzi living there. Everyone knows that the Zhang family and the Wang family have two children there. They are very precious. Children are easily deceived. What if they are accidentally abducted by others? Today, I heard that the two little fellows have arrived at Little Luoshui. All of us have discussed it. As long as we see them, someone will follow behind them. Nothing must happen to the two of them. So many people are counting on the two of them to survive. Young master, perhaps you haven't seen them. Those two little fellows are the most good-looking ones. They're much better than my son." Sigh. When Che Baosher talked about Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, his face was full of smiles. However, Jia Weiran was full of depression. Those two children were frighteningly smart. When they talked and did things, they were no worse than adults. They would not be abducted in their own Zhuangzi unless the sun rose from the west. There were hundreds of Zhuangzi there. Other than the two of them, the Gu family would not ignore them. Between the clouds and the water was just nearby. It was said that the two children had a whistle. Once it was blown, anyone who heard it would run there. Who would be so reckless as to abduct people there? This seemed to be an issue. A Zhuangzi had the best bailiffs patrolling there. What right did he have? Yes, this was enough to cause trouble for them. Thinking of this, Jia Weiren asked again, "Then aren't you afraid that others will report that they are using the bailiffs for personal reasons?" After saying this, he waited to see Che Baosher's worried expression. After all, Che Baosher was wholeheartedly looking there. In the end, he was disappointed. Che Baosher laughed and said, "How is it for personal reasons? There are two seventh-ranked officials there. The bailiffs are not specifically to protect them. They are to protect the place where there have been auspicious signs. Besides, I heard that the imperial nephew is there. With more bailiffs, he will be safer, right? Who dares to speak nonsense?" They can do that." Jia Weiran was stunned. Why was that place so complicated? All kinds of messy things could happen. "Young master, from what you're saying, do you have some sort of plan? If that's the case, you should get off quickly. I won't charge you for this part of the journey. Otherwise, if something happens to you, I will be implicated. If you want to touch the Zhang family, Wang family, and Zhuangzi family, it's the same as touching our hearts. Thousands of people depend on them for survival. If they fall, what are we going to do?" Che Baosher was not stupid. When he heard the words of the person sitting in the car, he said unhappily, "No, I don't have any plans. I'm just curious. Just curious. Tell me about the snacks here." Jia Weiren looked outside the car. It was in the middle of nowhere. How would he dare to admit that he was abandoned? If he could find another place to pick him up, wouldn't he be exhausted? Xiao Bao, quickly send someone to the capital to ask. Why was the new district magistrate decided? Ask for detailed information about him. Money moves people's hearts. If that's the case, a good place can't have a good official. Wang Wan and Zhang Xiaobao left the restaurant and stood on a small boat. They looked at the ripples created by the rain and were a little dissatisfied that the district magistrate was replaced by an outsider. "Yes, I've already arranged for someone. Don't worry, he should be more worried than us. We are the home field. Look at the surrounding boats and you will understand." Zhang Xiaobao pointed at the dozen or so small boats that seemed to be moving and turning at the same time. Some of those small boats would leave after a while, and new ones would join in. It felt very normal, but if one looked carefully, one would realize that these small boats were faintly protecting his and Wang Wan's boat. If other boats wanted to rush over, no matter from which angle, they would have to knock over at least 3 boats consecutively. Chapter 200. Let's go. I don't know who leaked our identity. Standing here, we have to delay the boatman's work. Buddy, let's go ashore. Zhang Xiaobao looked at the boats that were spontaneously guarding by the side. He didn't want to waste other people's time, so he held an umbrella and called the guy who rowed the boat. Okay, little Gongzi, we'll go up now. The guy rowed the boat to the shore, and the surrounding boats also followed the movement of drawing a circle with the boat as the center. Just as the handle said, the existence of Zhang Xiaobao and Zhuangzi was not only related to themselves, but also to many people. Nothing must happen to the people of the two families. When Wang Wan and Zhang Xiaobao came to the shore, the heavens seemed to be cooperating with them. The rain that was not too heavy just now fell down, and a mist immediately rose on the shore and in the river. A gust of wind blew. Zhang Xiaobao had no choice but to stand the umbrella on the ground. He and Wang Wan firmly held the umbrella with 4 small hands. In order to be able to block the rain, the two of them held a large umbrella with a diameter of 1.5 meters. They were short, and the umbrella handle was long. The advantage of this was that the rain that fell on the ground around them could only splash a little on their bodies. Xiaobao, are you cold? So cool. Wang Wan felt the water vapor blowing and asked Zhang Xiaobao. She stood facing the wind, and Zhang Xiaobao's back was facing the wind. A lot of the fine rain was blocked by Zhang Xiaobao. It's cold, how can it not be cold? Even if it's cold, we have to endure it. I'm used to it. There's an umbrella here. When the wind is a little less, we'll go to our barbecue shop to eat something and change our clothes. Zhang Xiaobao shivered. Xiaobao, do all men like to protect women? Wang Wan didn't have any good ideas. She could only hug Zhang Xiaobao. Not all men like to be protected by women. I think that men who are willing to protect women are generally stronger. It's his right to say what he wants, and it's his duty to protect women. When you want to get something, you have to give. Zhang Xiaobao thought about it and analyzed rationally. What about you? I'm also more domineering, but I still listen to your opinions. After all, sometimes you're more professional in some matters. I feel that you're also a domineering person. I don't know if it's because of your family or the department you were in. As Zhang Xiaobao spoke, he tightened the muscles in his abdomen. The advantage of this was that the stomach area of his body was always warm. Through his mental self-control, he made the muscles in the other parts of his body relax. Otherwise, if he had goosebumps, it would cause his body to consume more heat. The function of goosebumps was to reduce heat dissipation, but if all parts of the body were to tighten, it would increase the consumption of energy. Didn't you ask someone to investigate my situation? Why didn't you find out anything about my family? Wang Wan asked with a smile. I didn't find out. That kid didn't know much. He only knew about your original learning and training. He couldn't find out anything about your family. I found a deputy minister to investigate you, but he only found out your name and the name of your family. He didn't know anything else. Therefore, I know that your family is definitely not ordinary. I guess that your grandfather or grandfather, which is also your grandfather, will have soldiers standing guard at the door of a certain house. You are indeed very lucky. It's not that your family is powerful, but that you have a family. The wind is weak. Zhang Xiaobao felt a little regretful when he thought of the time when he asked someone to investigate who would come to catch him. Time was too short. If he had one more day, he would have been able to find out. Unfortunately, when he came back, Wang Wan's reaction was too fast. When he was talking, he found that he was not so cold anymore. Wang Wan smiled. Not cold. Do you know why? This is the power of people's hearts. Don't always think about my family. Well, you guessed right. There are people standing guard at my grandfather's and grandfather's houses, but your vigilance is too low. Didn't you hear anything? Look back. Zhang Xiaobao was not low vigilance. He was so cold that he put all his attention on adjusting his body. When he heard that, he turned his head to look back. Even though he was used to many things, he couldn't control himself at this moment. His eyes turned red. Behind him stood hundreds of people who worked at the dock. They just stood there, one close to the other. They didn't have straw raincoats or bamboo hats on their heads. They formed a square formation that was 20 meters long and 5 to 6 meters wide. The wind that blew from there couldn't break through this human wall at all. I really didn't hear any footsteps. How did they come? Zhang Xiaobao took a deep breath, blinked his eyes, and returned to his calm appearance. I came softly. The summer insects also fell silent for me. Silence is the footsteps in the rain. The wind crumbles outside the human wall. Wang Wan said a nondescript poem. Zhang Xiaobao understood and nodded. From tomorrow, no, from today onwards, set up a buffet for all the people working at the dock. They can eat as much as they want at 3 copper coins for 2 meals. Drink according to the cost. In order to continue squeezing their surplus value, let them advertise our shops here or between the clouds and the water. Make them custom-made clothes with our logo. We can't let them take advantage of us. Xiaobao, you're really a good person. You're giving yourself an evil excuse for doing good things. Unfortunately, the river here freezes when winter comes, and they have nothing to do. Wang Wan rubbed her eyes on Zhang Xiaobao's shoulder. She was also touched. She and Zhang Xiaobao were only children of Zhuangzi, but because she did something that she felt should be done, she got such a result in exchange. Perhaps even County Magistrate Cheng wouldn't be able to enjoy such treatment. If these workers were the soldiers before she and Zhang Xiaobao came here, she believed that it might be possible. However, these people didn't have such strong discipline, and they didn't have such a high level of awareness. Everything came from the bottom of their hearts. In fact, these people thought the same as Zhang Xiaobao and her in the beginning. If you're good to me, I'll be good to you. Her family's life was better than before, so she had to protect this benefit. She and Zhang Xiaobao just gave an order not to charge any extra fees for the dockworkers. It was unlike other dockworkers who had to pay extra every day to allow them to work. Why don't they have anything to do? In winter they can dig holes. After 2 days, when there are fewer boats, they can dig holes. Hire them to work and dig big holes. They have to be connected to each other. Put up a shelf on top and cover it with soil. Or just let them dig a cellar, a bigger cellar. At this moment, Zhang Xiaobao really wanted to find something for them to do. He couldn't let them waste a winter's time. Wang Wan thought for a moment and said, "Do you let them dig a cellar to store some vegetables or something? Then they have to work now, but there's a lot of work at the docks." Absolutely not. There's no need to care about the vegetables. Digging a cellar is to put ice. When the water in the river freezes in winter, put it in the cellar and take it out next summer. We don't expect them to eat it. We just want them to help with something or put an ice basin next to others when they eat. This is all money, and saltpeter is not cheap. When County Magistrate Cheng has something to do in the capital in the future, we can use boats to transport the ice over. Since we've decided to train him, we have to prepare a follow-up for him. We have to let him understand that he still has a huge team behind him. Zhang Xiaobao's mind was agile. In an instant, he thought of a way to continue to let people have things to do. He told Wang Wan. Yes, he's not fighting alone. At this moment, haha, I won't joke around. After digging a cellar and storing ice, what are they going to do? Liangpi won't be easy to sell in winter, right? Pancakes are still okay. When we're done, it will be almost spring. Those who have land at home can go and farm. Those who don't can be organized to help others farm. We can also provide some mountain vegetables. It's not that they don't want to work, it's just that they lack an organization. I plan to connect everyone in Sanshui County with Zhuangzi in the next few years. Whoever dares to touch Zhuangzi is equivalent to touching a county's people. Liangpi is easy to deal with. We can't just sell it and change it to spicy skewers. There seems to be too little spicy food. Spicy food is also fine. It's easy to make the tools. Don't think that we don't have much profit. In the end, people can even copy our products. Our brand can be established. When we mention spicy skewers, the first people think of our Zhang family and Wang family. Zhang Xiaobao would never think of doing such a profitable thing in the past. Now that the environment had changed, He had to think carefully about letting people recognize the two Zhuangzi in their lives. Okay, you can decide on these things. What do we do now? Just stand here and wait for the rain to stop. Wang Wan admitted that she wasn't as good as Zhang Xiaobao when it came to making money. We can't just stand here and wait. Let's go to the barbecue shop. Otherwise people will catch a cold. Zhang Xiaobao glanced at the people who were standing there to block the wind and rain. He and Wang Wan grabbed the umbrella and walked to their shop. When the two of them moved, the others followed. No one spoke. They walked in silence. As they got closer, their pace became the same. As a result, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan walked on the side. On the other side, there was a uniform sound from the direction of the wind. The sound of splashing water resonated with the crowd. People in the distance could hear the rumbling sound. As they walked all the way to the Zhang family's barbecue shop, the surrounding shops and pedestrians who were taking shelter from the rain all stared at the group in shock. Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan stood out even more under the umbrella. When they arrived at the entrance of the barbecue shop, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan held the umbrella and looked back at the kind people. They wanted to say something, but they found that any words would be useless at this time. The two of them looked at each other and directly turned to enter the shop. They didn't look back at those people. The shop wasn't small. The windows were low and there was rain outside. The people eating in the shop clearly saw that so many people had sent the two children here and tacitly turned around and left. Therefore, when Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan looked around to find a place, many people couldn't help but stand up. Chapter 201. Do you see that? This is the aura. It doesn't appear because of how powerful you are, but because of how the people around you flatter you. When I stood in front of the supermarket, no one thought that I was powerful. Instead, some people thought that I was stupid. Zhang Xiaobao whispered to Wang Wan. Really? It's not because of someone's aura. Wang Wan thought of her grandfather and grandfather. She felt that what Zhang Xiaobao said was wrong. Zhang Xiaobao seemed to know what Wang Wan was thinking. He said, "Are you thinking of your family? That's because you know their status. For example, if a high-ranking official goes to a normal food stall to eat, he will sit there with a serious expression. Other people who eat will not pay attention to him. Only the waiter will ask him what he wants to eat. At this time, there are a few hooligans drinking next to him. If he takes out his dignity and says a few words to those hooligans, can you guess the consequences? Will I get beaten?" Wang Wan thought for a while and said, "It's good enough that you don't get beaten to a pulp. If you keep a straight face and talk to those hooligans like you talk to your subordinates. Is that the aura? After a while, the police will come and surround those hooligans. Then, a few people will come and talk to him respectfully. That's the aura. Even if he has been beaten to the point that his mother can't recognize him, even if his originally good clothes have been turned into rags, people will still be afraid of him. If you usually have a high and mighty appearance, people will retreat. It's not because they feel your aura, but because they don't want to talk to you. I've met a lot of people like this before. They rely on their angry appearance to get rid of those who don't want to find trouble. So simple. Sometimes I do it, but when I do it, I usually use a helicopter as a foil. Otherwise, people won't talk to me." Zhang Xiaobao introduced some information about the use of aura to Wang Wan. Wang Wan nodded. She admitted that Zhang Xiaobao was right. When people interact with others, if you always have a straight face and act like you are treating your subordinates, some people don't want to conflict with you and will retreat, while others will dislike you. So she asked Zhang Xiaobao, "How can you make people treat you well and respect you?" Simple. First of all, you have to respect others. If you find that when you respect others, others don't respect you, it means that they have an aura. They treat others' respect as flattery, and they think you are afraid of them. Zhang Xiaobao explained again. Wang Wan smiled and said to the people who stood up, "You eat your food. It's raining heavily outside, so they sent us here. Don't worry about us. Adults want to protect children." Wang Wan and Zhang Xiaobao were wet, but the two of them were still smiling. This made people feel more and more interested, especially when Wang Wan spoke like a little adult. A middle-aged man looked at Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan and said to the waiter, "Waiter, give the two Xiaobao some food. Put it on my tab." See, this is also a kind of aura. A real aura doesn't need others to flatter you. As long as you show your kind side, then people with the same kind side will like you. Of course, even if you keep a straight face now, others will like you. Children are cuter when they are serious. Zhang Xiaobao then changed to lip language and said to Wang Wan. Wang Wan nodded and replied, "That means that no matter how we look, others will like us, right? That's the good thing about children, right? No, some people have no desire for life. Their hearts are so cold that they don't know how to cherish and love. Then they won't like us. Like that Jiao Weiren. He didn't want to care about children like us at first, but later on, his attitude changed because he was afraid of us. There is no light in his heart, only profit. Then isn't it sad for him to be alive?" Wang Wan asked. "No, he might think that our lives are sad. When the birds laugh at the fish for not being able to fly freely in the sky, the fish might also think that the birds are sad because they can't breathe in the water." Zhang Xiaobao smiled at the people looking at him and said to Wang Wan with his lips, "Xiaobao, you must be good at philosophy. Have you reached the level of a master?" Wang Wan winked. "No, if I really mastered philosophy, I wouldn't have to learn all kinds of psychology." Zhang Xiaobao thought for a while before answering. When Wang Wan and Zhang Xiaobao walked to the same table, they suddenly thought of something. "Xiaobao, do you mean that people who can build a 100-story building don't bother to play with sand?" "That depends on how you interpret it. Children who play with sand at the beach don't build castles, but dreams. I met a girl at the beach. She was a paralyzed child. She was only 4 years old, but she was drawing wings on the beach, all kinds of wings. At that time, I was negotiating with a country about the use of gas. It was actually a scam. We were in a kind of ice age. I wanted to use the gas on bicycles to reduce pollution, but it was actually a scam. After all, the compressed gas used for bicycles would be dangerous if it collided with other cars. I wanted to use this to buy out their country's gas, the cheaper kind, to serve their bicycles. When I was troubled, I saw that little girl. I asked her, 'Why are you drawing wings?' She said, 'I can't walk, so the only thing I can do is to fly. Draw wings, accompany me to fly, accompany me to break through.' Then I changed my strategy. I know, the biggest scam in the world, a scam that isn't a scam. My dream is to fly. Just that one time you made 16 billion. That country spent most of their budget on this matter. While promoting their local gas storage and safety technology, they lost a lot of money. It was hard to judge whether they were scammed or gained. So it was you. Okay, when you contributed to the world's disabled children, you also cheated a lot of money. Shouldn't that money be invested in the basic education of children in our country now? Amazing, so that's how it is. Your scam has been written in the textbooks. Wang Wan didn't wait for Zhang Xiaobao to finish speaking. She already knew the situation. She really didn't know how to evaluate Zhang Xiaobao's behavior. He didn't spend a single cent, but he almost praised that country. But he helped the disabled children of that country benefit and improved that country's gas technology a lot. Therefore, it was written in the textbooks that it wasn't a scam. She really didn't know that this matter was done by Zhang Xiaobao. When she heard Zhang Xiaobao say it, she didn't doubt it. She knew that Zhang Xiaobao wouldn't lie to her. Lying to her was meaningless for Zhang Xiaobao. I don't want to talk about this. I want to tell you that the engineer is actually not as good as the little girl. A building with hundreds of floors is not as good as those castles on the beach. This is philosophy, with the purest purpose and hope, with countless flaws. This is art, and this is real philosophy. Birds don't pretend to be pretentious because of their posture in the air. Fish don't feel proud because of their swimming in the water. Then why do humans dare to do something to feel proud? I have never thought about the pride after deceiving people. I know that I am walking on thin ice. I put away all my arrogance, just for that one last wish. Zhang Xiaobao didn't know what he was going to say. He took a few deep breaths and calmed down. Wang Wan sat opposite Zhang Xiaobao and looked at him. After a while she suddenly smiled. Xiaobao, I finally know why so many people follow you wholeheartedly. You put your life into your dream. I feel really happy now that I have come here with you, flying with me. I don't expect to fly. I don't know how to do that. I can only deceive people. Zhang Xiaobao felt a lot more relaxed after he said those words. I know how to do that. Xiaobao, when you sleep at night, you cover me with a blanket a few more times. I will make a hot air balloon for you. I am a high school student. I have a master's degree at the age of 14. My major is law, but I don't know anything. Wang Wan said with a smile. It's up to you. I am not that shameless. I never take care of others. You don't mean what you say. What about the blanket that you cover me with at night? I always turn over. Wang Wan continued. Pomegranate, it must be her. Waiter, bring the charcoal. Zhang Xiaobao said and lowered his head to call for the waiter. Waiter, didn't I say just now? I asked you to put the bill on our table. What kind of charcoal did you bring? Why is it in that shape? When the person who spoke just now was waiting for the waiter to bring the charcoal, he asked unhappily. The waiter was stunned for a moment. He looked at the charcoal in the shovel in his hand and then looked at the charcoal of the person who spoke. He explained, Sir, the two of them don't need to spend money to eat here. Naturally, the charcoal they use is different. Your charcoal still emits smoke. This charcoal doesn't emit smoke when burned. It is specially smashed with bamboo charcoal and roasted into a slightly white color. Then it is pressed again. You can't buy this kind of charcoal. Really, it is much better than yours. Even if you didn't say it, I wouldn't dare to serve bad things to the young master and young lady. You can see it when you look at the dishes. Others can't eat it at all. The waiter said and showed one of the things on the plate to others. Turned out to be a translucent thing. It was made by smashing the fish meat and pressing it with a red-hot iron plate. It was the same to eat it directly. There was no need to roast it at all. He didn't know the principle of making things under high pressure and high temperature when there was no oxygen. When the person heard this, he was stunned for a moment. He waited for the waiter to put down the charcoal. When he saw that there was no smoke coming out, he believed it. At the same time, he said discontentedly, Why can't I use these things? The cost is too high. Unless you are willing to spend more money, several times more than what you are spending now. The waiter answered honestly. Chapter 202. Hearing the waiter's words, the man felt a little unconvinced. Just as he was about to continue, the woman next to him said, Husband, don't say any more. If I'm not wrong, of the two lovely children, one should be called Wang Wan, and the other should be called Zhang Xiaobao. Is what Madam said true? How did Madam know? The man who had wanted to quarrel just now quietened down and asked the woman next to him in a low voice. Husband is busy with important matters all day long. How could you know such a small matter? I heard that the Zhang Xiaobao and Wang families of Tuqiao village each have a child. One is in trouble and the other is a girl. When they were young, as soon as they opened their eyes and saw each other, they had to be together. According to some people, they were childhood sweethearts. Since then, the boy and girl were inseparable. Whenever they went out, they would always go together. The two children were very sensible and never caused trouble for the adults in the family. When they met outsiders, they were not like other children. They would always smile first. As long as it was a place under their family's management, whether it was the shopkeeper or the waiter, they would remember their appearance. Husband has been here several times, so you should know that no waiter has ever called anyone little master or little lady. No matter the age, they all call them the same. Husband naturally heard the waiter call them little master and little lady. It wasn't out of respect for people like us. Even the charcoal was different. I think that the two children are the little ancestors of the two Zhuangzi families, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. If you don't believe me, husband can stand up and walk over to see if anyone will stop you. The woman spoke in an orderly manner, But the man didn't know the power of the woman next to him. He really stood up and walked over. With a whoosh, 8 people stood up at the 2 tables next to them. 4 of them wore tight black clothes, 2 of them looked like scholars, and 2 of them wore yamen runner uniforms. As the 8 of them stood up, the waiter who had just spoken also exclaimed and stood in front of Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's table. As soon as he shouted, 2 more waiters immediately came in. One stood in the aisle, and the other welcomed the man who was walking over. "Sir, what do you want?" The shop assistant who greeted him changed his smile and asked cautiously. "I don't want anything. I think those 2 kids are nice, so I want to go over and talk to them." This man was not a fool. From the expressions of the people around him, he could tell that something was wrong. It seemed that the madam was right. The 2 children were Zhuangzi's little ancestors. He glanced at those 8 people just now. It was just a short time before the 2 children came in, less than a quarter of an hour. Especially the 2 yamen runners. Their hands were already on the hilts of their swords. "Sir, if you really want to talk, I'll have to search you. Please forgive me." The shop assistant glanced at Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. Seeing the 2 ancestors nod, he continued speaking. This man was really too curious. Who would dare to search you normally? Unless the shop didn't want to open anymore. At this moment, he met the shop assistant's gaze. Seeing that the shop assistant didn't have the slightest intention of backing down, he could only agree. "Okay, search. After you're done, I can go over. Haha, you really take care of the children here." The shop assistant didn't stand on ceremony and directly searched him. He found 2 taels of silver and a string of copper coins on the man's body. He directly went to the woman and said, "Sir, please. Brother, you also want to go over and take a look? I'm going over as well. Why don't we go together?" At this time, one of the yamen runners suddenly spoke. He took 2 steps forward and stood next to the man. "Uncle Song, you're also here. How is our little brother? Does he cry all day?" At this time, Wang Wan stood up and greeted the yamen runner. When the yamen runner heard Wang Wan's words, a smile appeared on his face and he replied, "Well, that kid cries all day long and makes a lot of noise. At first glance, I can tell that he is a naughty child. I don't know what to do in the future. My brother and I were patrolling here and happened to see you. How is the family?" "Well, thank you for your concern, Uncle Song. In fact, the reason why the little brother cries is not that simple. It's either because he is hungry, or because he is uncomfortable with the cold or heat. It might also be because he wants to pee. You have to watch him more. The most important thing is to get a small bed for the little brother. It must be placed in the corner, not next to the window, but the corner next to the door. Put some warm-colored cloth on the 2 sides of the wall. Oh, it's red cloth. Must be thicker. Also, there can't be too much empty space around the little brother's bed. Even if you put some bags, it will be fine to put all kinds of things in them. This way he won't cry so much. Xiaobao, it's your turn. Don't always make me say that you don't know as much as I do in this area. What else do you want to do? Give me some ideas." Wang Wan smiled and gave some ideas. As she spoke, she realized that Zhang Xiaobao had been silent all this time. She nudged him with her hand. Zhang Xiaobao could only say, "Also, you have to hold the little brother often, especially when he is sleeping. You have to put the little brother in the middle, pull a curtain at the foot of the bed, and put an extra pillow on the head. This way, the little brother won't cry unless he is hungry or needs to pee." Because Zhang Xiaobao was an orphan, he specially studied this aspect. No matter how young a child was, he still needed a stable environment. That was to make the space that he could see as small as possible. It also had to be warm-colored. With 2 adults by his side, he would always feel that he was in a safe place. In particular, the stretching of space was the most important. Children usually didn't have much of an impression of heights. They dared to climb down directly from a height of dozens of meters. They didn't have that kind of concept, but they were the most intuitive about the size of their surroundings. Especially at night, as long as they couldn't see their surroundings, they would be afraid. In the dark, even if their body temperature dropped by 0.2 degrees, they would immediately wake up and cry to call for protection. Many times, the adults didn't understand and just hummed to coax them. In the end, it was very ineffective. The most correct way was to hold the child in their arms. Usually, the child would fall asleep again within a few seconds. The adults were simply used to this kind of thing but couldn't get rid of it, unless they were like him or Wang Wan, who were specially trained and knew how to adjust their body through psychological cues. This was also why there were always people patrolling the main courtyard of Zhuangzi at night. Those in the inner courtyard could sleep soundly. When the Yamen runner surnamed Song heard Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's words, he nodded vigorously. If it were others, he would be suspicious, but he had always trusted these two little guys. He had heard that when they were almost 1 year old, the two little guys had never cried. In the main courtyard of the Zhang Xiaobao and Wang family, the servants woke up at night and were not afraid. The surrounding sentries were always around to protect them. Okay, I'll arrange it when I get back. What should the child eat? Only milk. Oh, it's all thanks to Zhuangzi. The child's mother's milk has always been very sufficient. The Yamen runner began to ask Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan for advice. At the same time, he was very grateful. His wife's milk was sufficient, and it was all because of Zhuangzi's food. The small restaurant in the county would basically send them a bowl of milky white fish soup every day. There were some green vegetables in it, but there was no salt. There was also a pig's knuckle every 3 days. He couldn't repay this kind of considerate care. Today, he happened to hear that the two of them were coming here, so he called his companions in advance to wait here with him. Wang Wan imagined the child's playful expression and said, "You can also give the little brother more fruit juice. Don't give him too sour fruits, choose sweet ones. Little brother will definitely like it. If there's no fruit juice, then feed him some rice porridge. It's best to add some sugar. Oh, I forgot about this. I should have asked someone to send him some white sugar. I'll arrange it later." Wang Wan was right. Children liked to eat sugar not because it was sweet, but because it was hereditary. No matter what food it was, it would eventually become sugar when it was absorbed by the human body. When children were young, they were influenced by their genes and liked to eat sugar. This was necessary for survival. Another point was that children were not afraid of eating fishy and greasy things. If you gave them fatty meat, as long as they could bite it, they would also like to eat it. Some adults didn't want to eat fish because it was fishy, but children were not afraid. Everything was instinctive. At this moment, Xiaobao added, "When he's a little older, we'll give him sugar and rice. There's no need for any salt. Little brother will like it too. The rice here has to be ground up, or it'll be too hard." When Zhang Xiaobao said this, he thought of his grandfather, the director. At that time, some children were sent here, and they were fed like this. His younger brothers and sisters had also grown up. "Okay, I'll remember it. Brother, don't you want to talk? To sit here. I'll stand." Bailiff Song firmly remembered Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan's words. He pointed to a seat opposite Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan to the man next to him. He held the handle of the knife with one hand and pressed the man's shoulder with the other, asking him to sit down. At this time, this man really believed that the two children in front of him were definitely the little ancestors of the two Zhuangzi, Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. He had long heard that the people in the Yamen were good to the two families, but he didn't expect it to be to this extent. "Well, that. Little brother, little sister, what do you want to eat? It's my treat today." The man sat down, looked at the bailiff next to him, and said with a trembling voice, "We're not roasting anything, just roasting some garlic. It's raining heavily outside, and it's cold. We're afraid of getting sick. It's good to eat some garlic. Waiter, add a fish for each table." Wang Wan picked up the fish that was pressed until it was translucent, put it on the rack, smeared a layer of oil, roasted it a little, and put it on Zhang Xiaobao's plate and her plate. She said to the man and called the waiter. The man looked at the thing that Wang Wan roasted should be called fish fillet, but it wasn't fish fillet, and asked, "Little sister, don't you want to smear some chili sauce or something?" "I won't. If I do, it'll taste like chili sauce. It's best to eat the original flavor. Uncle, oh brother, try it. Uncle Song, bring a few of these fish back for little brother to bite when he has nothing to do. Wang Wan said again. Chapter 203. When Wang Wan said these words, she showed her magnanimity. If it was an older person, others might think that she was pretending to be generous, but when it was said by a child, it could only make people feel that this was a good family education. That kind of constant smile and steady appearance made the people eating envious and emotional. Husband, come and take a look. There's something good here. Just as the man was in a dilemma, the woman who came with him suddenly spoke. The man smiled apologetically at Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan, then returned to his original position and asked the woman, Madam, what good thing did you say? Oh husband, look at this. As soon as the meat is placed on the shelf, it turns from red to white. Is it fun? The woman really didn't know what to say. She called her man back so that he wouldn't be embarrassed. She didn't expect that the man didn't even understand this. Oh, it really changed. Hee, madam, then let's eat first. The man saw the look in his wife's eyes and finally understood. He laughed and agreed. The people at the surrounding tables looked at him enviously, or looked at his wife. If there was a good woman in the family, it could really save a lot of trouble for a man. Xiaobao, that woman is very powerful. I listened to her analysis just now. Now she can help the man to be less embarrassed. It's a pity that the man is really not presentable. Otherwise, his achievements would be even higher. Wang Wan muttered to Zhang Xiaobao beside her as she bit the fish in her mouth. Zhang Xiaobao put the skewered garlic on the shelf to roast, flipping it from time to time, and replied, I think that woman is the happiest. At least the man doesn't feel that it's embarrassing to be helped by a woman. In many families with powerful women, the man doesn't say to reflect on himself, but is always there to be angry. Men, some without ability, always feel that it's embarrassing. Only those who truly understand the reason will put the position of the family in the right place. I think my father is not bad. My mother is in charge of the entire family, and my father has never interfered. He only wholeheartedly studies. Who dares to say that he has no ability? How can a person without ability find a good wife like my mother? You see, I'm strong enough at home, right? My father didn't say anything. This was a real man. If there was any danger, I believe that he would definitely stand in front of me and my mother. Even if he wasn't that capable, look at the people in the inner yard. Who would dare to look down on my father? When a man gave in to his family, it wasn't that he didn't have dignity, but that was his magnanimity. The green hills do not feel joy or sorrow because of the blooming of flowers and the falling of leaves. The sea does not feel sorrow because of the ebb and flow of the tides. The sky does not feel sorrow because of the rolling clouds. This is what it means to be small and not be a gentleman. To be inconsiderate is not a gentleman. To retreat 3 steps is not to lose. Then, do you listen to what I say? Wang Wan picked up a piece of garlic roasted by Zhang Xiaobao and put it in her mouth. Listen, when you asked me to get down from the couch, didn't I also roll down first? It was so high and my head was shaken. Don't you see that I've become a fool? Zhang Xiaobao said while biting the garlic. Who asked you to be so powerful? You didn't get hurt when you jumped down from a height of 15 meters. You can climb a 9-meter wall with your bare hands. The couch is only slightly taller. That's because I practiced in the past. If you ask me to jump down from a height of 15 meters, I'll be like this roasted fish, sliced into pieces. Besides, I didn't jump vertically. I had a lateral force. When I landed, I also did a series of shock-absorbing movements. The limit of a human is not 15 meters. Some people accidentally fell from the 4th floor, but they also didn't fall. That was 12 or 13 meters and it was vertical. This means that a human can stimulate more shallow abilities. I don't have the talent. It was exchanged with countless injuries. Zhang Xiaobao wasn't proud of his ability at all. He knew the bitterness of it. Wang Wan thought for a while. That's true. I heard that more than 100 years ago, not long after the liberation, there were thieves who were able to escape by jumping from the fourth floor. The department I'm in has been researching something. What is it? Is it jumping off a building? Zhang Xiaobao asked curiously. What do you mean by jumping off a building? That's just sleepwalking. When sleepwalking, humans are usually able to exert the limits of their bodies. For example, a person who needs 6 minutes to run a kilometer can climb from a dozen floors above to the ground through a pipe flowing with rainwater when he sleepwalks. He could even move sideways to a window that was about 3 meters away. Normally speaking, it was impossible. When he did this, there was a kind of fear that would affect his performance. However, under the condition of sleepwalking, he could do it, and it was done very easily. Look, the record of the long jump is more than 9 meters. Then, a normal person can jump 6 or 7 meters with a run-up. However, in our internal records, there was a sleepwalker who jumped from 2 buildings that were 8.5 meters apart without any run-up. Of course, when we checked him later, we found that the degree of damage to his body was more serious. However, he still jumped over. Why? It's because during the process, he exerted the limits of his body and stimulated the shallow energy. His muscles and bones, including the supply of oxygen, were at their most perfect at that moment. If soldiers could be like this in battle, then even the special forces would have to stand aside. Our second division has such a research project. One reason for capturing you is to get money, and the other is to study your body. Unfortunately, I don't know if it's because you're too powerful and overdrew your life, causing you to fall seriously ill, or if it's because you're unlucky that you brought me here. Wang Wan finally said something that she had never said before. She felt much more relaxed. Zhang Xiaobao was stunned. So, did you guys make some kind of drug? Can help people get more help at that moment? Yes, there has always been. Otherwise, the athlete wouldn't need to have his urine checked. However, our research department found that the human body can secrete that kind of hormone. We've been looking for such a person. How can we say that we've failed to find you? Who asked you to be so kind? You were willing to change a child. That time you should be defined as being kind. Even if you were executed 10 times according to the crime you committed, it would still be a light punishment. It's already a long story. Let's think about the present. I'm going to take out 5,000 taels of silver and spread it in Sanshui County before the new county magistrate takes office. Can you help me think about what should be done? We must create an image of being close to the people. Zhang Xiaobao didn't want to talk about the original topic. He could only think of it as a dream. It was the past, and it was morning when he woke up. Wang Wan stopped what she was doing and thought carefully. 5,000 taels of silver was not a small amount. Except for building all the roads in the county, there was no problem to do other things. How about we give some oil to each family? There's still some money left. Give a few kilograms of oil to each family. No. How about building their houses? It will cost less money. Repair, not rebuild. Or give them some fireworks and firecrackers to keep for the new year. Wang Wan was giving ideas. She rejected every one of them. In the end, there was no other way. She simply stopped thinking and put a prawn on the rack to roast. Zhang Xiaobao was also thinking hard. He wanted to improve the reputation of Zhuangzi again before the new county magistrate took office. After thinking for a while, he said, "Let's collect dung. Let's not collect people's dung. We'll collect livestock's dung and let them dry it. The price can be slightly higher. Other than that, we'll collect some smelly fish, rotten prawns and other things." "You want to make fodder?" Wang Wan asked doubtfully. "That's impossible. The smell is so bad. Don't we have some middle and lower fields for our own household? Next year we'll take turns and raise them for a year. They'll all go to the fields. The rest will be fed to the chickens. There's still some money left. We don't need so much money." Zhang Xiaobao thought for a while and came up with this idea. This time he was not afraid of others saying that he was stupid. In the past, people said that every time Zhangjia Zhuangzi did something, those who did not understand would say that he was stupid. After a few things, he believed that those people would change. Okay, let's do that. We'll just eat a few mouthfuls. Let's go and change clothes. Wang Wan did not roast so many things, so there was no need to throw away the rest. After eating the prawns, she pulled Zhang Xiaobao and walked out. The yamen runners also left. The other 4 people looked at each other and separated again. They fell behind Zhang Xiaobao and Wang Wan. Xiaobao, do you think we should help to fix the yamen? Their rule is that officials do not fix the yamen. I think it's broken a lot. After changing clothes, Wang Wan and Zhang Xiaobao sat at the door. They looked at the heavy rain outside and chatted. Zhang Xiaobao's eyes were fixed on the rain and said, "Well, you reminded me. Fix it. We must fix it. Not only do we have to fix it, but we also have to add a place for the people to rest. Before the new county magistrate arrives, we have to let the people get used to this." You're so bad. Are you waiting for the new county magistrate to arrive and think that this place is not in line with the rules and remove it? Will he be scolded by the people? Then his prestige will be reduced a lot. Then, when the people report the case, can they directly tell the yamen runners on patrol? Wang Wan understood Zhang Xiaobao's meaning and added. Zhang Xiaobao nodded. Good idea. This way, things in the yamen will be more troublesome. If he is a capable official, then there will be no problem. If he is a person who comes in through other channels, then he will suffer. But I heard that this year's county magistrate selection is done by Li Longji himself. How can there be a mistake? Wang Wan asked again. He is also a person, not a precision instrument. A person can make mistakes. If he is really so good, who appointed the provincial governor surnamed An? Who appointed the prime ministers surnamed Li and Zhang? By the way, what has Li Sun been doing recently? I haven't seen him for a long time. Miss him. As Zhang Xiaobao spoke, he suddenly remembered that there was a neighbor of his imperial nephew. You're tuning in to the Whispers of Romance YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.